Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you all. Welcome to the Metalheads Unite podcast. I am Chris Taranjo. I am one of your hosts. As you can see, I am solo at the moment, but that's only temporary. Jason will be along shortly. He sent me a message. He is, I don't know what he's doing, but he said he's on his way. He's running a little bit behind. For all I know, he may have gotten held up in line at Dunkin' Donuts. I think that's happened to all of us on at one time or another. But Jason is on his way. He will be here shortly. So, wanted to get the show started on time for everybody. Want to welcome everybody in who's watching all over the world. Like I say, good morning to everybody here in the United States. Down, to our fans down in Mexico. Speak of the devil. There he is right there. Hey, everyone welcome Jason. Jason's here. And he doesn't look too happy. Good morning, man.
Wow.
Long line at the donut shop?
No,
Well, I went ahead and got this whole thing started, but I hadn't really got into it yet. Just letting everybody know that you were running just a little bit behind, but that happens to the best of us sometimes.
oh yeah. Just a crazy week, so it's been behind on everything all week. So
Oh yeah, that happens, man. Life gets in the way.
yeah, which I won't complain about. I won't complain about because at least I'm still living. So I mean that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's true, especially with the top story we got today. So,
Oh yeah.
not to make light of it, but I mean it's just a good, it's going to prove your point here in just a second. So,
I was printing my stuff, and then the printer, somebody messed with my printer, so it wasn't catching anything, so it was all on the floor in there when I was going to go get it. So,
oh no,
yeah, but yeah, it what it is.
that's the 2022 version of the bully at school knocking the papers out of your hand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, good morning, Myrna.
Trying to make sure all this stuff is in order because I think I picked it up in order, but
Okay. Well, we'll find out once you start reading it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So,
if you go to do the birthdays here in just a minute and start reading your album review, we'll know everything.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that bad. It was just more or less the stories. I was like, okay, did it end here? Start here? What's going on here? So, but anyway, it is what it is. So good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So
yeah, it's nice to see that Myrna was able to join us at the very start of the show today instead of with like 15 minutes left. So
yeah. So anyway, I guess we can jump into some birthdays here. Keep this thing going. So from the was it the 14th? Is that what we're going from?
Well, the 14th was last Sunday, so yeah, should be.
Yeah. Well, reason I asked because I don't have anything for the 14th, so I was like, okay, was it the 14th or 15th?
Yeah.
So
okay,
so it kind of threw me off. All right. So August 15th, birthday was I only had one. Tommy Aldridge, drummer for Ozzy, of course, and of course better known for the drummer of Whitesnake. We had August the 17th. We had I'm gonna kill this name, and I apologize, but it's Becky Steen, singer for Tristania. And we had Tarja Turunen, vocalist for Nightwish from 96 to 05. August 18th, we had Andy Darris, a vocalist for Halloween. One of the vocalists for Halloween.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Blas Las Gomez, drummer for Slaughter. August 19th, we had Ian Gillan, singer for Deep Purple. Steve Grimmett, a singer for Grim Reaper. Joey Tempest, vocalist for Europe. And Michael Todd, bassist for Coheed and Cambria. And unfortunately, we're going to have more news on Steve Grimmett here in a minute. So,
yeah,
August the 20th, Robert Plant, vocalist for Led Zeppelin. Rick Rail, bassist for Femme Fatale, 87 through 90. Dimebag Daryl Abbott, guitarist for Pantera and Damage Plan. Of course, he passed away in '04. And then we have Fred Durst, singer for Limp Bizkit. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we also had one, was it yesterday? I have to go back in here and look now. So, because I'd already done all this before I knew about the birthday. So, let's do this. Let's see what this was. Sorry. Yeah, the 19th. So we had 19th. We had Ricky Jimenez from our friends over at Extinction AD had a birthday. So
That's right. Yes, he did.
So happy birthday to all of those. And if you had one that I didn't mention, happy birthday to you. And of course, if anybody out there listening had one, happy birthday to you. Hope it was a good one.
We've got one you didn't mention.
Well,
yeah.
We don't talk. We don't talk. It's like Encanto, man. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about that here. So,
yeah. So yeah, our very own Jason Tucker, his birthday was on the 16th. In addition to my Aunt Lori, same day. So
yeah. Oh well, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah,
birthday twinsies.
That's right. So there were a couple of important birthdays on the 16th. So yeah.
38 again. It's been nice.
Hey, there you go. 38 part 2.
Yeah, part 10.
There's a lot of
not quite part 10, but
yeah, there's a lot of
damn close.
Yeah, there's a lot of franchises that get into probably more sequels than they would like. So
yeah, well, I mean, that's true. I'll make a deal. I'm gonna be 38 until they stop making Fast and Furious movies. How about that? So.
Well, then you're gonna be 38 until 2024 because I actually saw something on Facebook the other day where Fast 11 is supposed to be the last one in 2024. So we'll see how that goes.
Christ. Yeah, well, that's what they said. Well, I mean, it's already gotten stupid.
Oh, it's been
space and all kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's been.
It's kind of like the Friday the 13th stuff. Friday the 13th was good up until like 7.
Yeah,
and, 7 was decent, and then it got stupid. And, going to Manhattan and space and hell and get the hell out of here.
Well, hell, I just saw something where they're apparently going to be making a 10th Saw movie too.
Oh my god, seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, they're already doing prequels to that. So I mean,
yeah. Well, I don't know. Well,
I actually never watched that either. So.
No, I think I've only watched like the first 3. I lost interest after that. But and Myrna, happy birthday to Bo, turning 17.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was his birthday already. So
yeah.
Well, that's my nephew there. So
yeah, birthdays galore today. So
yeah,
or this week rather.
More personal birthdays this week. Yeah,
right.
All right, I guess we can start diving into this news. So
yeah, and as you alluded to just a minute ago, we do have some unfortunate news about Steve Grimmett. Over at Blabbermouth, of course, every outlet had this one, But
yeah.
Today we start off at blabbermouth.net. Grim Reaper singer Steve Grimmett has died at the age of 62. Steve's passing was confirmed by his brother Mark Grimmett, who wrote on social media, quote, "I don't really know where to start, so I guess I will just come right out with it. It is with great sadness and a very heavy heart that I have to tell you all, as many of you know him, my very talented brother Steve Grimmett." Damn. I'm phlegmy all of a sudden. Sorry. Very, very sadly passed away today. My heart goes out to Millie, his wife, my mom and dad, Russell, Sammy, and Ethan. I will miss you more than words will ever say. Love you, bro. XX. End quote. Steve's son, Russ Grimmett, also shared the news, writing, quote, "We can't begin to put into words the current feelings, but his dad was so well known, the news is starting to reach out earlier than we would have liked. Unfortunately, our dad passed away today and leaves a massive hole in the world and our hearts. We are utterly heartbroken. Sleep tight, Dad. We will always love you. XXX." End quote. Producer Max Norman, who worked on Grim Reaper's classic third album, 1987's Rock You to Hell, weighed in on Steve's death, writing, quote, "Very distressed to hear that old friend and singer for Grim Reaper, Steve Grimmett, has left us. A terrific vocalist and all-around perfect gentleman. You will be missed, my friend. Condolences to Mark and Millie and friends and family. A very sad loss." End quote. Grimet's passing comes more than 5 years after he had his right leg partially amputated in January of 2017 when an infected wound on his right foot spread to the bones in his leg partway through the group's 5-week tour of South America. The life-saving surgery was carried out in Ecuador, and the frontman was in the hospital for just over a month while fans raised $14,000 to bring him home after his insurance company refused to pay because of the type of work he was doing. Fucking insurance companies. Grim Reaper's story begins in 1979 after successfully fighting off hundreds of bands in a local Battle of the Bands competition. This win, combined with an already sizable following, aroused the interest of Ebony Records. Signing with the small UK label, Grim Reaper released 3 albums in rapid succession to international acclaim. Due to legal turmoil with Ebony, Grim Reaper would disband in 1988. Grimet would go on to record with Onslaught, didn't know that, Lion's Heart, and more recently, The Sanity Days. His renowned vocal range remains one of metal's most identifiable, with loyal fans turning out in numbers to hear him perform. Grim Reaper was part of the Hell on Wheels tour, which crossed the states in 1987 alongside Armored Saint and Halloween. Talk about a tour I would have liked to go see.
No doubt.
Yeah. Grimet reformed Grim Reaper in 2006 as Steve Grimet's Grim Reaper, loophole bitch, following an amicable decision between the singer and original Grim Reaper guitarist Nick Bocott, who both agreed that using the original name minus the other members of the classic lineup wouldn't be a proper reunion. Steve Grimet's Grim Reaper released 2 studio albums, 2016's Walking in the Shadows and 2019's At the Gates. Since 2006, Steve Grimet's Grim Reaper had made a number of European festival appearances and toured all around the world. Earlier this year, Steve told VW Music that he had no regrets whatsoever about how his career panned out. Quote, "I should by rights be a millionaire, but I haven't got a penny to my name," he revealed. "I'm on welfare at the moment because of COVID, and a lot of people do think that I'm a millionaire, but I can tell you now I'm not. I never received a penny, not one penny from Grim Reaper, so that says it all, doesn't it? But still, no regrets. I still love getting up there and playing. I still love watching the smiling faces in front of me. That says it all and does it all for me." Grimet also had plans to get back to touring in 2022, saying, quote, "I'm just doing some deals at the moment in regards to doing a tour in America, and then we'll be doing a tour in South America and Europe. All of these need my people to come together, sort dates out, and just get on, book it, and go for it. There will be lots more releases as well from Grim Reaper, apparently." He added, "I just want to say thank you to my fans for the loyal support that you show me and give me. I can't wait to come and see you for real, face to face. Take care and stay safe." So obviously, unfortunately, we know that's not going to happen. But
Right.
What kind of gets lost in that story? Obviously, the big news is that he's passed away, only 62, and I actually saw something later in the week where apparently, of course, everyone's death is a shock. Last week, if you guys remember, I was up in Michigan for a funeral, so I was up there for that. No one was ready for that. So death is always kind of a shock, even though if somebody's got something terminal or whatever. Yeah. But what I think gets lost in that story is the fact that he's been making music since 1979. So you're talking 43 years. He's broke.
Yeah.
He said and who knows how much validity is to the fact that he never made a penny from Grim Reaper. Who knows? But if anyone knows, he would know. If he doesn't have any money now, chances are that he's probably telling the truth that he never got any money. So we've heard stories about how Chevelle, they didn't make any money off of any of their albums. We've all heard the stories, probably more than likely, about how bad Sharon's dad, when he was Black Sabbath's manager, screwed them over, and at one point they were basically broke because everything that they had basically was because Don Arden basically let them have it while he was making money off of them. And then once they split up, he kind of took everything back, and they're like, well, what the fuck do we do now? So some of these management companies and record labels, they're just shady as fuck. Yeah. So I think I didn't want that to get lost in the story, because obviously his passing is but I mean, just for these guys to be to be doing this for however long, whether it's 4 years or 40 years, to not be able to have anything to show financially for the hard work that they've put in is just it's figuratively criminal, and it should be literally criminal at the same time.
Right. And for you guys that aren't familiar with Grim Reaper, and if you want to hear how, Steve Grimet's talent, just go pick up the album or just listen to it on Spotify, whatever you want to do. But the album Rock You to Hell, that's a classic Grim Reaper.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, that's some, and he was a powerful vocalist. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so we
Yeah.
definitely lost the talent. That's for sure. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So before I get cranked up here, I just want to give a shout out to Aaron Camaro and Chris over at Decibel Geek. They actually wished me a happy birthday live on their podcast the other night.
Oh shit, nice.
So yeah, so I appreciate that. Me and Aaron go back a long, long way from wrestling. It's kind of wild, like how we both were in wrestling and now we're both doing podcasts. So it's kind of wild. But Decibel Geek is a if you're down with like the old 80s hair metal stuff like that, Ricky Rackman kind of era, those are your guys, man. They know their stuff when it comes to that stuff, man. So,
Yeah.
Decibel Geek, they do a shows I think on Friday night, and I think they do one on Tuesday as well. I think so. They do edit some of their stuff, so sometimes they may be pre-recorded, but a lot of times they do go live like we do. So
Yeah.
so if you want to follow those guys on Facebook or wherever they are out there, so check them out. If you're, like I said, if you're into the old '80s and '80s metal, those are your guys. So they're big Kiss fans and stuff.
I was just about to say that.
kind of tells you where they stand on it. And I did not know until I was listening to the podcast the other day that Chris is actually the one that funds all of the Rockin' Pod stuff. I didn't know that.
Oh no, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So I thought like they were just part of it. No, he actually is like the guy. So and he was explaining on there kind of like we do. We don't have the money to bring on like big bands or anything, and that's not what we were meant to do anyway. But I'm just saying, if we wanted to, we couldn't afford to do it anyway. But that's what he was saying. Is like I can't afford, why don't you get this guy and that guy and this guy? And he's like, well, because I can't afford to put Ozzy on my Rocket Pod show. He's like, and if I did, I wouldn't be able to put anybody else on it. So he tries to make it a full experience, which is cool. I'm definitely okay with that. So
of course.
But anyway, shout out to those guys. I appreciate that, Aaron and Chris, for the shout out. Like I said, we do talk about those guys on here every once in a while. So we try to plug our friends as much as we can when we can. So
yeah. Well, their shows anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And of course, there's like I said, we always talk about at the end of our segment the multiple shows that are on our platform. So
that's right.
So there's always something to check out if you're commuting or just hanging around the house, just want to listen to somebody bullshit. Then there you go.
Yeah. And that Rockin' Pod thing, we're gonna have to make sure we go to that next year. So
yeah, we're gonna try to get in on that next year. So so we got some big things maybe brewing next year. So we may be making a trip to Florida as well from the sound of it. So
yeah, maybe.
So that'd be pretty cool. Actually, do some on the road. We'll be hitting the road ourselves on the hitting the road segment. So so pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we're not doing like huge things, but I mean we're doing some pretty cool things, I think. So not to be to be as only been doing this for a couple of years now. So it's pretty cool. Also wanted to give a shout out to the Defaced. If you haven't checked them out, they got a new video that come out, and actually I wanted to give them a shout out because if I don't, he'll whoever sent it, I don't know which one of them sent it to me. Probably Jan's, but anyway, whichever one sent it to me, I appreciate that. They said, "Hey, did you check out the new video yet?" And they messaged me today and asked me if I've checked it out yet. So
I posted it.
So,
yep.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Hell yeah, we did.
Yeah. So shout out to them if you want to go check out that video. It's out there on YouTube. The Defaced, and that album is amazing too.
Yes,
so
it is.
If you haven't checked out the Charlatans, then check that out. So. All right, so I guess I can get into my news now. So to get out all my shout outs out of the way here.
Shit, that's fine. Because it's actually cool that we have like friends of the show to actually give shout outs to.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's cool. So, and hopefully, like I said, we'll wind up being in same atmosphere with Decibel Geek, maybe next year. So hopefully everything all goes well. So
yeah.
All right, so my first story is over from Loudwire. Pretty interesting. We like road stories. So even if it is from bigger bands, but I always love to hear the small bands tell because they always have some. I think like from the bands we've talked to and the stories they've told, it's been pretty freaking amazing to me. It's just some of the stories we've heard just from those type bands. So I can imagine some of the stuff these bigger bands see and do. So
Oh, yeah.
uh, this one's from Loudwire. Five Finger Death Punch's new album Afterlife is out now, and their tour with Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods kicked off last night in support of it. So, in celebration of the kickoff, frontman Ivan Moody has recalled his most memorable on-stage moment, and it's actually pretty hilarious. Though Five Finger Death Punch have been touring for over 15 years and have made countless memories on the road, Moody remembered one particular night in Denver, Colorado, when they were a relatively newer band on the Family Values tour in 2007. We were playing out in this field, and it's surrounded by aspen trees and pines. They didn't coordinate it very well. They didn't think it through. Hey, I've been there. And so about halfway through our set, I looked out, and there were these kids tearing out the trees and swimming in the pond that was next to it. And they brought me the fence, literally brought me the fence. All these things happened within a 45-minute set, Moody detailed to Loudwire Nights host Tony Gonzalez. That was also the first time my oldest daughter saw me play. I looked over as she was crying. I ran over to her and was like, "Baby, what's wrong?" Instant dad moment, he continued.
Right.
And she looked at me and she goes, "Why are you yelling at all those people?" It didn't occur to me. I never raised my voice in front of my kids. So she had no idea. She never listened. She was 9 years old. She'd never heard me yell before. And she walks out there, and the first thing she sees, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Screaming noises. We can imagine it being a little bit shocking for a 9-year-old to hear their father make those kind of sounds for the first time. Elsewhere in the discussion, Moody explained that his daughters were the inspiration for the recovery center he's planning to open in Cheyenne, Wyoming soon, which he actually just received approval for. He's currently leaning toward making it a center for women and wants to utilize practical application techniques to give addicts an authentic recovery experience. So, man, that's awesome, dude. And I don't think we've ever read that story before. So
No, we haven't.
so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Especially, since he's, his demons with alcohol
Right.
are well documented. And, I posted something to the Facebook group either last week or week before last. It's been within the last 2 weeks, talking about how he just recently passed 4 years sober.
Mm-hmm.
So and like I said when I posted it, say whatever you want about your music. You're allowed to fan however you want to fan, but give the guy credit for being able to get himself to that point. Four years sober is definitely nothing to sneeze at all. For anybody for anyone who's gone through anything like that, to get to a point where you can do that is a testament to them. So
and we know by telling the stories from James Hetfield of how it can come back and bite you and stuff too. So I mean, no, we're not perfect. We just have to own up to our mistakes and learn from it. So
yeah,
what they say, you fall off the wagon, you get back on it. So
that's right. As long as you keep trying, trying.
Yeah. So I mean, it's cool though, because James has always admitted to, he's like, "Hey man, I got, I fucked up, I got issues." So and he'll take to, they're at least man enough to own up to what they're, what they've done to take care of the issue, or try to take care of the issue. So, and I'm sure it's not easy. I mean, I've never been a full-fledged like alcoholic or anything like that, so I don't know. I've never been big on drugs or stuff either, so I don't know how that is. I don't know how it would be dependent on that thing. I can't speak from experience because I haven't had it happen.
Right, same.
So, but I can imagine it's a I worked in pharmacy for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of stuff with pills. So it's almost sad to see these people come in and their reaction to things when they can't get what they need. It's sad. And just thankfully, he's doing something to better everybody with that center. So hopefully, a lot of something good comes of that. So a lot of these bands are doing like stuff like that now, which is cool. Like we grew up, we never heard you didn't hear about Motley Crue opening up a heroin addict center. So
right.
So it's cool that you're hearing these bands give back now. So
yeah. And so, I mean, it's always good, whether it's, whether it's musicians or athletes or actors.
Right.
I mean, it's always good. It's always good to see.
It's always good to see them use their stage for for good. So
Right. Yeah.
instead of being controversial and
Hmm.
and that's what I say. Like with these guys, talking about politics and stuff like that. I don't know if they're really into it that much. Honest. I mean, we know a couple people that are. Don't get me wrong, but we know how Rob Flynn feels and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Sure.
But but yeah, but there's a lot of them out there that just use that as a platform to boost their sales. They don't really care about the damn politics or nothing, man. That's what I'm saying. Like we have to be careful, what we're jumping on board with anymore because
Sure.
it could be a good thing or a bad thing. So, uh,
Yep.
but good on Ivan Moody for doing that. That's really that really made my day, honestly. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no downside to it at
yeah,
all. No downside
yeah.
to it from the journey that he's taken. Now he's gonna give other people the opportunity to be able to pull themselves out of whatever they're going through, and
Mhm.
there's really no downside.
Yeah, I skim through these stories, but a lot of times I don't like read and comprehend a lot of it until I'm reading them here. So
Yeah.
it's it's more like I had to reword that one because it was written on Thursday, so it was saying tomorrow and all that. So I had to rewrite it to where I'm actually doing the report today, timeline wise. So I didn't want to say
Right.
it's tonight and you know the actual tour kicked off last night.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I had to go back and reword a couple of stuff like that, but which I try to do, but sometimes I miss those too. But
Right.
we're all human, like I said. So
Yep.
that's the lovely part of doing live shows. That's why I like doing live shows because
Oh
it's like
yeah.
I just like the authenticity and the realism of doing live. So
Yeah.
plus we don't have 4 hours a night to go edit anything.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
But that's the thing is, I mean, you talking about editing the show. Even if we had time, I don't know if I would want to do it.
yeah, I mean
So I
that's
mean,
just
it's
kind of
just
that's just been kind of our thing is we just want it to
yeah,
be natural and
it's more.
we're
It's
we're, we're if
yeah,
I can go back, I could go back and edit it and make us look like $1,000,000. But so
yeah.
we would fuck up sometimes. So
Oh yeah, yeah, we totally do. Yeah, all the time.
all right,
All
so
right, all right. Over Blabbermouth. According to TMZ, a Motley Crue fan apparently fell from the upper level of the band's concert in Indianapolis on Tuesday night. TMZ has obtained a video of people at the show gathered around the man and tending to him as the legendary 80s rock band was belting out its classic song, Looks That Kill. A witness told the site there was a puddle of blood around the victim. Police and paramedics arrived quickly, placed the man on a gurney, and wheeled him out of the stadium. A witness who attended the concert, Stephen Neely, told 13 News, quote, "We seen a figure. At first, we didn't think it was a person. We thought they had been tossing volleyballs and different stuff around the crowd. But when you heard the thud twice, then we knew it was a person. You could hear the audible gasps over the music playing. Everyone was, oh, sorry, that's the end quote. And then another quote, everyone was just kind of standing around looking, trying to figure out what to do, who to talk to, who to get to come over to the landing and check the person out," added another witness, Krista Neely. "We didn't know if they were breathing or not, breathing or not breathing or what was going on," end quote. Another woman who witnessed the incident told Fox 59 someone fell on top of her boyfriend while he was standing on the landing outside of the seats. Quote, I got him back in our aisle, and that is when I saw the man who was on the ground next to where my boyfriend was standing. Uh, the woman said, according to the woman, the man who fell was unconscious and blood immediately started pouring out from under him. Quote, the time it took to get medics there to help was ridiculous. She said, people around were trying to help, but there was just blood everywhere. Time is of the essence when it comes to injuries like this, especially due to blood loss, end quote. A spokesperson for the Indianapolis Police Department told TMZ that they assisted an injured person who was, quote, awake and breathing, end quote. Cops confirmed they were investigating whether the man was extremely intoxicated, leaned over the railing, and fell from the upper level to the lower level. His condition is currently unknown. And yeah, as of right now, I still haven't heard an update as to the condition of this guy. So,
mm,
we hear anything, we'll kind of up to date, give an update to you guys. But so
hopefully he's okay. That's horrible.
yeah, yeah. So definitely not good. So yeah, hopefully the guy's okay.
All right, sticking with Loudwire on my next one here. Kind of a updated, kind of an update on a story we've done before, but uh, just kind of a firsthand reaction to it. I guess is why I wanted to like go over it because I mean, a lot. This could have went a whole different route if things hadn't just fell in place like they did. So, and luckily for Judas Priest, Richie Faulkner, that
Oh, yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
things with the way they did. So but he considers himself lucky in many ways after the events on September 26, 2021. That was the night he was on stage with Judas Priest at the Louder Than Life festival in Louisville when his aorta ruptured and as the band was finishing their performance. In a new interview with Guitar World, Faulkner details some of the events that happened in order for him to have gotten the emergency surgery he needed that night. Faulkner recalls his chest tightening during the show, feeling moderate pain with some shortness of breath, but he was determined to finish the performance. Video was later posted of the musician playing Painkiller, well, which that's kind of ironic,
Right, yeah.
as his aorta rupture was happening. Following the performance, Faulkner collapsed into a chair at the side of the stage. Quote, I needed to finish the song, but I had the presence of mind to come back from the edge of the stage just in case I passed out from fatigue, Faulkner revealed. Luckily, Metallica was headlining that night, or we would have played a full set and I probably would have dropped dead on stage. And Metallica slaving lives, look at them.
That's
But
right.
if I had known my heart had split open and I was bleeding into my chest cavity, I might have handled it a bit differently, but I had no idea, Faulkner added. I got my jeans and t-shirt on. I didn't think it was anything really serious, and I didn't want to make a fuss. I probably would have kept going if we did an encore. Uh, while it was initially suggested by paramedics that Faulkner go to the hospital, the musician initially had another thought in mind. The original plan before the show was to drive home, have a few days off at the house to spend with our new baby, Faulkner said. Then I was going to fly to Denver to meet the band and carry on with the tour. I figured I could still do that. I'd been healthy before the show, so I was like, obviously, it's no big deal. Let's just get in the car and go back home. It's going to be okay. There's no question I would have died in the car on the way back home if I even made it to the car. Um, at the urging of his medics and his girlfriend Mariah Lynch, the guitarist eventually decided to go to the hospital. And luckily, the festival grounds were just 5 miles from the Rudd Heart and Lung Center of the University of Louisville Health Jewish Hospital. Um, Faulkner says that the aorta rupture came right out of the blue, and that he really hadn't noticed any warning signs prior that seemed out of ordinary for his given profession. In February of 2020, I had a physical in England. The doctor checked my blood pressure and said it was a little high, but she said it was okay and there was nothing to worry about, recalls Faulkner. The Kentucky show was in September the following year, and there was never any indication of any problem before I got halfway through Painkiller. One other thing that surprisingly worked in Faulkner's favor was the fact that he was playing a live show just as the incident was happening. The guitarist says, one question I had for the doctors was how I was able to go on for so long because, yeah, once these things rupture, you usually only got minutes and you're gone. Um, they think that maybe my adrenaline was so high because we were playing that, and that had my heart was pumping so hard and fast that it was enough to keep me going long enough to get pumped up with more adrenaline and keep me going to the hospital. So I can literally say the power of heavy metal kept me alive long enough to save my life. I was literally possibly saved by metal. The procedure took 11 hours, but Faulkner reveals that they were able to repair the aortic rupture and take care of an aneurysm as well. There was no heart attack to fix, he adds. My heart was completely fine. It was the aorta that burst. So they repaired it with a mechanical valve, and they repaired other parts of my heart with bits of metal since the dissection caused a lot of damage. I'm more metal now than ever. I like to joke that I've literally got a heart of metal. Um, he continues, I know this, I know how serious it is, and I know I would have died if I didn't have these miracle doctors. So a lot of like, that's so crazy to think that when you think about stuff like that and you think the timeline out, if you would have did that one thing different, you wouldn't be here. Um,
Yeah,
so,
you want to talk about you want to talk about a massive what if.
right. Yeah. That's a
Jesus.
definitely definitely could have went the other way very easily.
I've watched that clip like of
Mhm.
his performance there at Louder Than Life, and it definitely put a different spin on it once you realize that once the solo to that song kicks in. I mean, you're not exactly 100% sure the moment it happens, but knowing that it happens during that solo, it is weird because you're like, all right, his heart is literally exploding in his chest right now, and he didn't let anybody know. You couldn't even tell on his
Right.
face, and you couldn't even tell by the way, because I mean, of course, he's played that solo a million times, but
Right.
you would figure in that moment he would have been like something's going on, like he would have like missed maybe a note, he would have been like a
Mm-hmm.
half a beat off something. That was a flawless solo performance,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, but it's amazing to know what was happening as you're watching that video.
Right.
And yeah,
I think it.
like you're saying, a 5 to 10 second
Mm-hmm.
delay on any of the chain of events that happened after that, or even before that, like you said, like he said, if Metallica wouldn't have been headlining, their
Mm-hmm.
show may have been 1 or 2 songs longer, and the next thing you know, he's like right there on the stage, you know.
Well,
So
that or I mean, or they could have been headline. I mean, they could easily headline a festival. I mean, it's,
yeah,
it's Judas Priest,
yeah, they
So,
absolutely, yeah. So
so I mean,
it is,
it could have been they could have been headlining, and he could have died before he ever got out there. So, I mean,
right.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's just amazing.
You just
It's
have to be
amazing how
thankful that
things work out.
you just have to be thankful sometimes that things work out the way they do. So,
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I'm glad he's okay, because yeah, that, like you said, that definitely could have gone a completely different way.
I mean, hell, I'm big about you know, if something isn't right, I run to the doctor because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of what they're there for, and
Yeah,
I probably pay more out of pocket for false alarms than to do anything actually going wrong. So, uh,
yeah.
but I mean, like I said, I mean, I had some procedures done last week because something wasn't right. So I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
know your body. I mean, if you feel like something isn't right, then you should probably take care of it. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like he said, he had no warning signs. I mean, until after he was done, then he was just like, okay, something's wrong. but but wow, that's yeah, just amazing story there. So
yeah.
those kind of things just make you think.
Yeah, they do.
It's
They
like, well,
absolutely do.
what if even if it's personal, you like, okay, what if I would have done this instead of that? I probably wouldn't be here. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is.
I think about it a lot because I had a friend that died when he was 18, and if I was actually in a reform type, I was in like a reform type school, so I wasn't, we were together all the time, but because I was there, I wasn't with him the night he died. So I always think a lot of times if I hadn't been there, then I'd probably be right in the grave with him because we were always together.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's always things happen for a reason sometimes. So
yeah.
unfortunately, they don't always end as happy as Richie Faulkner's, but
Right. It's like that. It's like if you remember the behind the music, the Metallica behind the music, when they got to the part
mhm.
where they were talking about the night of the bus accident. You
Right. I
know,
mean, it could have easily been Kirk Hammett.
Cliff died in Kirk Hammett's bunk.
Yeah.
That they were fucking around, and they like drew cards, and Cliff was like, "Hey, I'm taking your bed," and obviously we know the rest of the story. So
Yeah. Yeah. Which was uh which I got a story about that here later too, so we'll talk about that a
oh
little
shit,
little more
sorry.
in a minute. Well, not about that, but I'm just saying
Oh, okay.
A Metallica story that I can kind of go talk about, in detail more than instead of going through it
Okay.
now.
Okay. All right.
But I was going to say something, and I was like, well, I can kind of say that when I go through the story. So,
Okay. Yeah. I have a Metallica story to Metallica story too.
I mean, it's probably hard for us at this point not to have a Metallica
It
story.
really is. It
Uh,
really is.
uh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all of the charitable stuff that they do, we're
right.
not gonna leave that kind of stuff out when these bands are doing stuff to raise money for charity.
Yeah.
We're not, because I even brought up, and I'm not even the biggest Rage Against the Machine fan, but I mean
Hmm.
they raised like $75,000 for charity, and we had to mention that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, because like we've talked about, using the platform that they have to do that kind of thing, obviously it deserves recognition, whether we're like big fans of music or not.
Mm.
So
I see. I see. I post the other day. It says they're rage with the machine now. So
right. A case could be made. A case could be made. All depends on your perspective, but yeah. Okay. Headed over to the PRP.com. And this is another example of something we've reported on this too many times, and it's just ridiculous. Royal Coda vocalist Kurt Travis, formerly of Dance Gavin Dance, has experienced a new level of nightmare for a touring artist. Rather than having his gear, belongings, or touring vehicle stolen on the road, a group of thieves broke into his home and made off with various items, including gaming consoles, instruments, and more, while also stealing his Land Rover and totaling it. The worst part of the matter is that the theft occurred at his home in Placerville, California, while he was on tour in Toronto opening for Dance Gavin Dance. Speaking last night and today, of course, last night being the 17th and today being the 18th, Travis offered, quote, where'd the quote go? Oh, hold on. Hang on. The quote disappeared.
we're live. That's what
I know. I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think I jinxed us.
Yeah, the quote literally just disappeared from the story. Oh, hang on. Well, he did have a ring. He did have a ring camera on the front of his house, so that's good. That might help. So a little update. My Land Rover was found, but they crashed and totaled a vehicle. It's now in a tow yard where it's racking up a huge fee to get it out. We're trying to get it out of the tow yard so it doesn't cost a fortune. Shit, let the damn insurance company just take it and let them handle it. It's totaled. Don't worry about that. I just found out that my car is stolen. It's a 2004 Land Rover Discovery 2. They broke into my house. They took my PS5, Xbox, PS4, custom Kiesel electric guitar, vintage 1957 Dano Electro U3, about 8 zillion cymbals. I have a week left on tour, and I'm trying to be calm, but I'm kind of freaking out. I just got new tires. So, well, I mean,
yeah.
Let's see. The band the band that's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the band themselves issued the following statement for those who'd like to help out. Please consider helping our brother Kurt Travis. Last night he learned his home was broken into and several of his valuable possessions were stolen. His car was also stolen, eventually found, crashed, and totaled. Venmo at Curtis Travis, Cash App $Kurt Travis. The remaining dates of the aforementioned tour include St. Louis, Chicago, and Denver on the 19th last night, 20th tonight, and the 22nd on Monday. So, that's got to be it's got to be. I mean, I had my car broken into, at one of the old malls in Nashville, but I mean, they just stole my CDs, my radio, and a radar detector. I had insurance and I was able to get all this shit back. But I mean, I wasn't in Toronto while my house is in California. You're literally like 2,500 miles away. There's nothing you can do. So I feel bad for these guys, man.
Yeah.
They're trying to make a living, and they just can't do it. Whether these guys are getting their vans broken into in parking lot hotels, whatever and whatnot, studios broken into, just and of course, even like regular people like you and me, I mean, my grandparents up in Michigan, they had the front door of their house kicked in like in the middle of the afternoon one day, and people, burglarized their house, so I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you can never be 100% sure that the stuff you work so hard for is safe.
Well, I mean, there's a difference nowadays, especially, us being in Tennessee and in the South, is, you kick a door in around here, you're probably going to get blown back out of it. So
that's true.
They definitely do not play around with that shit around here. So
no, they don't. And they shouldn't. I don't really, I don't really get too upset when I read a story about, some dude who, was trying to, commit a home invasion, got the, got his comeuppance.
Nope. My sister's in the chat now.
Yes, she is.
So, what's up, sis? I remember like when I going back to the talking about reform school a lot today, but I remember being there and was watching the news before bedtime one night, and it was talking about a guy was interviewing him, had somebody break into his house, and of course it was during night, so he come down with this, he had a 38 special or whatever, so he come down with his 38, told the guy, said, you need to drop what you got, get out, or I'm fixing to shoot. and the guy went to reach for something himself, so the guy shot him. And it was funny because the police show up and they're just like, why did you have to shoot him 6 times? He said, well, hell, you lucky you got here when you did because I was reloading. So I was like, wow, I will never forget that. That was so freaking hilarious.
Nice. Yeah.
You lucky you got here when you did because I was reloading. So
yeah. Why did I only shoot him 6 times? Because I only had 6 in the gun.
I only had 6. Yeah. It wasn't like now where you got 90 millimeter with 15, 20 clips,
right.
bullets in the clip, but you just he had a little 38 special revolver. That was pretty cool though.
It gets the job done.
Yeah. Well, that was an old joke where the guys calls the police and says, hey, there's people breaking into my garage. I'm sitting there watching them, and the cops were like, oh, well, we don't have anybody available right now. We'll get somebody out there as soon as possible. So he waited about 10 minutes, called him back, said, hey, they're still not on my shit, dude. What are we, you need to get somebody out here. Well, as soon as we get somebody, we'll send them out there. Everybody's kind of like tied up and everything. So he said, I turned right around and called him right back like 5 minutes later and said, hey, I called y'all earlier about these people breaking into my shit. You don't have to worry about it now. I shot and killed them. He said, man, cops were there in like 2 minutes. And they caught the people, of course, and then, arrested them or whatever. And then they said, hey, I thought you said that you shot and killed these people. He said, well, I thought y'all said y'all were busy. So, it's like, it depends on how you word stuff when you call them, I guess, how busy they are. But I thought that was pretty funny. But,
yep.
Speaking of which, they brought this up on the Decibel Geek podcast, and I don't think I think we talked about the Tommy Lee, surprise picture last week, but we didn't really talk about any of the jokes coming out after the fact. I think it got posted in our chat too, in our Metalheads page about the Glenn Danzig picture. And was it Glenn Danzig? I think it was Glenn Danzig. But it said that I don't think it's fair that Def Leppard's drummer only has one. Yeah. Def Leppard's drummer only has one arm, and Motley Crue's got 3. So
that was Glenn Danzig. Yeah, it was.
That's pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yep. Jokes for days from that, I guess. But, somebody was posting I see somebody post a cloud in the sky. It looked like a penis. And somebody put in the comments, Tommy Lee ? So
I saw something. I can't remember what band member it was, but it was somebody from Symphony X that said, I wish I had the balls to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
I see where Ivan Moody said something about that too. He said, ain't nobody that well endowed.
Right. Yeah. I saw that too. And one of my coworkers was like, Ivan Moody just told everybody that he has a small penis.
Yeah, well, hey, you work with what God gives you. That's all you can do. So,
which I mean, obviously I don't know if that's true, but it was just a funny joke. But yeah,
can't ever tell.
Yeah.
Ivan wears baggy stuff all the time. So
that's true. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he wears baggy stuff.
I was about to say it could be for a reason, yeah. So,
but it's also funny to me because we grew up in the time where Tommy Lee was playing drums in the rank, in that circle, in that the rotating cage or whatever, wearing a Speedo. So how'd you get all that in a Speedo?
I know.
Oh man,
how'd you tuck all that in, buddy? I know.
All right, my next one is over from Blabbermouth. This is actually the Metallica story. So, Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett, who recently released Portals EP, marked his first ever foray as a solo artist, was asked in a new interview with Goldmine magazine why he and his bandmates take long between records. Well, I mean, it's something I've always wanted to know, so why not get it firsthand, I guess. In 40 years, Metallica has released 10 albums. He responded, yeah, it's not getting any quicker, too. It's just like we have a way of working. We have a process that unfortunately takes a long time. It's just the way we work, is the way it is, the way it works as a band, and I've grown to accept that. Putting out Portals is great for me because it kind of frees me up from that schedule, Kirk explained. I can come up with a few tracks, record them, and put them out, and I can do it on a completely different time schedule from the band. and that's great because it doesn't seem to get in the way of the band's schedule because, like I say, we move at our own pace. Hammett also touched upon his songwriting approach in Metallica, saying, "When I go in and create Metallica stuff, I give it my full creative energies. The way I look at it is all the notes are already there. You just have to find them. I'm serious; they're already there. You just got to freaking find them." And so there's that, but also a reliance on spontaneity. No, it's like it should be spontaneity,
Spon-
but
Spontaneity. Yeah.
spontaneity. Okay, there you go. On real in moment creation, I think that's where it's most effective. It's like any time I sit down and try to compose something that could be spontaneous, it ends up sounding composed. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think catching yourself in a spontaneous moment is just much more exciting and much more honest. That might not make me sound like Eddie Van Halen, but that's beside the point. I really feel like I'm playing for the song when I play that way. 2 years ago, Hammett told Metal Hammer magazine that there was a lot of material written for a possible follow up to 2016's Hardwired to Self Destruct album, which marked Metallica's first full length collection of new music in 8 years. I know I have tons because I totally overcompensated, he said. Last time around, it was a real shock to my system losing all those musical ideas. Editor's note: Kurt lost a phone with more than 300 pieces of music on it during their creative process for Hardwire, which is a whole different story. But
Hmm.
James was not happy with that story. But
Yeah.
uh, so, uh, so I was very determined to try and make up for lost time. I also felt that creatively I have so much more to offer this time around. Bassist Robert Trujillo also added to that the songwriting process for the next album could be a decidedly more collective effort compared to Hardwire, which was largely composed by guitarist and vocalist James Hetfield and drummer Lars Ulrich, which we all know most of them are.
Right.
So I'm not going to speak on behalf of the other guys, but to me it feels like this could be a very collaborative writing process. Robert said. And for me personally, I love that. I love that we are in that headspace to be more collaborative. And I think that's very exciting for where we're at now. The journey we're able to take, the fact that those doors are opening like that. It's taken a couple of months literally for me to go through all my ideas, added Kurt, who is not credited on any of the songs to Hardwired Self Destruct. I got a wealth of material, and so at any given point when we all decide, okay, let's start formulating a schedule to start writing songs and recording it, I'm ready, I'm there, I'm from day one. Kirk has so many ideas, continued Trujillo. It's funny because sometimes it's literally him in the kitchen and he's cooking, and at the same time he's playing you a riff, or you're sitting on a toilet and he's playing you some ideas. uh, but when we started to understand that the lockdown was going to happen, it was like, hey, let's be creative, let's just get on it. A lot of times when there's a band that's been around as long as Metallica, you find that one of the biggest problems is, man, I can't come up with a riff, I can't come up with any good lyrics. It's just harder to write songs. But that just doesn't seem to be the problem with us. Not taking anything away from any other bands, but sometimes our worst riff might be another band's A-list riff. Hardwired to Self Destruct debuted at number one on the Billboard 200 album chart, selling 291,000 copies in the first week of release. So if that's any indication of what the new album might do, that's probably a good sign that it's probably going to be just as good, I imagine. But we'll see.
Hmm.
I think it's cool that the thing that I took from that was cool that they're actually letting Rob and them kind of collaborate on some stuff now, which is, you know, which we've always said if Cliff Burton was alive, that there wouldn't be any, you know, because Cliff was responsible for writing a lot of early stuff. So, uh,
Hmm.
kind of after Cliff died, I think they just kind of got out of like letting anybody, you're not an original member kind of thing, I guess. But
Maybe. Yeah.
but you got, that's probably why Kurt doesn't do as much as he should. But I mean, I think that's kind of, that's one thing I've always kind of disliked about Metallica was they weren't. I don't know. This always never seemed like they, uh, you know, as a group, uh, gave credit where credit was due with other members.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't knock what they've done. I mean, because obviously, they're the best selling band, probably out there
Hmm.
in the metal world. So, um, but so pretty cool stuff. So hopefully we're getting, it seems like we're talking more and more about the new Metallica works. So hopefully it's
Hmm.
something coming out pretty soon. I honestly think they're going to come out with something next year. Honestly,
They might. They
I
might.
mean it'll be 7 years since Hardwired. So I mean
Mm-hmm.
that's about their break. So.
Right.
Which is crazy because if you think about earlier, it's like 83, 83, 84, or
86,
86. I
89,
mean, yeah. So I
91.
mean,
Yeah.
they was pretty fast with stuff back in the day. So I
Mm-hmm.
think once they hit that Black Album success, they kind of scaled back a little. So of
Yeah, they
course
definitely did.
they did tour for 4 years on that album too. So I
Well,
mean,
that's also true. Yeah,
so
that's also true.
that makes a difference too. So
Yeah, it definitely does. All right. Fortunately, you know, I was sitting here and I kind of hit refresh on the tab I had open from blabbermouth.net. And we have a little bit of breaking news, I guess you could say. Ted Kirkpatrick of the Christian metal band Tourniquet has died after a brief battle with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a rare terminal lung disease for which there is no cure. He was 62 years old. Primarily a drummer, Kirkpatrick was the principal songwriter for Tourniquet and played other instruments whenever needed. The news of Ted's passing was shared by his wife, Christy, in a social media post late Friday night, being last night. She wrote, quote, "I have some very sad news to share. My beloved husband went to be with the Lord today, August 19th, 2022. He was surrounded by his family and loved ones. It was a blessing to see firsthand Ted's amazing passion for so many things that captivated him for life, and it was humbling to stand by and witness his genius, creativity, and seemingly never-ending natural talent. I know many of you are brokenhearted, and certainly Ted's wish would be to celebrate his memory through his music through Tourniquet. About 4 months ago, Ted was experiencing chest pain and unusual shortness of breath. Up until this point, Ted had not been in a hospital in 40 years, and all COVID tests came up negative to the end. After several doctor visits to a general practitioner, Ted was referred to see a pulmonologist who conducted many tests, and an accurate diagnosis was made of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a rare terminal lung disease of which there is no cure. IPF is a serious disease that causes irreversible scarring of the lungs and progresses or gets worse over time. This scarring makes it difficult to breathe, and eventually the lungs can't inhale enough oxygen for the body to function properly. Typically, IPF causes severe shortness of breath to where the simplest activities of walking across a room seem nearly impossible. Ted was able to share a few thoughts the night before he passed. Quote, "My life has been so full of adventure and wonderment, and for the past 30 years, all of you have been a great source of joy as you shared your love for our music, my passion for animals, and my desire to share the love of God with all of you. I'm forever grateful for the unending loyalty so many of you have shown through the years in support of whatever talents the Lord gave me on this earth. I leave behind so many wonderful friends, my wonderful family, the greatest family anyone could ask for. My brothers, Doug and Jim, my sister Sue, my wife Christy, my forever soulmate, my best friend, and the most beautiful person I've ever known. Thank you, and I'll see you sometime on the other side. Love, Ted Kirkpatrick. I appreciate your prayers, Christy." If you would like to help with Ted's expensive medical bills, a GoFundMe has been set up, and there is a hyperlink in this story here at blabbermouth.net. So, a founding member of Tourniquet, Kirkpatrick's aggressive musical and often unorthodox approach to drumming has been recognized by thousands, critics and fans alike. A native of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Ted began playing drums at age 12. By age 14, Ted was playing drums along with the records of many of his early influences like Rush, King Crimson, and ELP. He held, I don't know if that's ELP or ELP, I'm not 100% sure. He held a business degree from the University of Texas, Austin, where he graduated with honors and often found himself using the skills learned in college in the many facets of successfully operating the band. Entirely self-taught, Ted began to develop his own unique drumming style through a variety of influences. He was a great admirer of the classical masters and has attended countless classical concerts. His drumming and songwriting are influenced by the power of Beethoven and Mahler symphonies, the staccato bursts of Scarlatti's harpsichord sonatas, and the counterpoint of Bach's fugues, to name a few. His solo release, In the Shadow of the Masters, featured Ted drumming to classics by Mozart, Beethoven, Rossini, Chopin, Paganini, and others.
Freddie fucking Chopin.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You, musical lover. You're next. Yeah. Such a good movie, Tombstone.
Oh yes, classic.
So yeah. Again, same age as Steve Grimmett, and just,
I was going to ask that. I didn't catch the
yeah,
age, so he was 62 as well.
yeah. He was 62
Yeah,
also. Just,
man. It's I always like hate hearing people, especially people that work like we do for a living. Uh, and not saying anything like actors and football players and stuff like that can retire, in their 30s and 40s if they wanted to, most
Mm-hmm.
of them. But for people like us that work 9 to 5s, Monday through Friday for 40 years, and then they reach that retirement age, and then they pass away right before they get to. It's like you just worked your whole life, and you never got to enjoy any relaxation or peace, and that's kind of sucks for you know
Mm-hmm.
I always hate to hear stories. Man, I wish we could just read these stories where everybody was 90 something. It's like,
Right. Yeah, I know.
like, oh man,
Yeah.
they lived a great life. They were 90.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely, a lot of this next story kind of touches on some of that too, where a lot of musicians go too soon. So, all right, this one is from over at Metal Sucks. It's a feel good story in a sense, I guess, but too many metal musicians, hell, too many people in general have lost their battle with opioid addiction. From Dave Brocky to Lane Staley to up and coming artists that never make it big, it's hard to fathom all the music we've lost to drug addiction and a system that treats the disease like a crime instead of a health problem. To that end, a charity record label in Philadelphia is hoping to honor the life of one such musician that showed immense promise but died too soon. Mike Perry was the guitarist and lead singer for the post-hardcore band Worshipper. Though hard work and frenetic live shows wherever they could play, they were gaining some steam in the Philadelphia area in the mid 2000s. Along with his lifelong friends Kurt Howard and Benji Davis, Perry worked to write, record, and release their debut record To Binge and Purge in L.A. Soon after, they went out on their first and only tour with Boston's own Bad History Month. Ultimately, sorry, that was untimely for a minute. Ultimately, they broke up like so many bands do. Perry's drug habit got to be too much, and it served as a wedge between himself and the band. It all ended tragically when Perry relapsed and died on June 16th, 2021. Since then, Strange Mono Records has been working with the surviving members of Worshipper to remaster their only album. As they get closer to that remastered version's release in October, they've begun taking pre orders with 100% of the proceeds going to Prevention Point, a nonprofit in Philadelphia aimed at harm reduction. We hope that this release can raise awareness about one of Philly's best bands and help to promote health, empowerment, and safety for communities affected by drug use and poverty. Worshippers to Binge and Purge in LA will re release on October 31st and is available for pre order via Strange Mono. There will also be a charity show on October 15th at Century Philadelphia with all proceeds going to Prevention Point. So, like I said, another unfortunate death, but turns out that something good may be coming of it. So,
Yeah.
I think we need more stuff like that. Honestly, with me and my wife talked a lot about people always say, "Oh, well, hit the lottery. I'm going to do this and want to do that." We've talked about actually if we ever hit the lottery, we would buy some land and put some housing on it for people that struggle with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just to try to because I think a lot of times that's what happens is people that deal with that kind of crutch, I guess you could say, is that they don't have anything that keeps their mind off of, hey, I need to do this drug, Um, so I mean, they do a job, long enough to, get money to buy more drugs, but
Mm-hmm.
I think if they had some kind of stability where maybe they were in some kind of like a assisted living type setting, but what I'm saying, but it's for drug addiction, where they could
Yeah.
have like like a pool hall or something like that in it, where they can keep themselves active doing other things. And I think that's where we dropped the ball. A lot of times around here, you have Narcotic Anonymous, and you go in, you tell your story, then you leave. It's like there's
Mm-hmm.
no stick around and hang out, or no consistent monitoring or anything like that. And I think
Yeah.
that's what they need to be monitored a little more closely. But
Right. Yeah. That's a
but
good
hopefully
point.
hopefully the To Binge and Purge in LA will sell a lot, and hopefully they'll get some funding there. And
Yeah, we'll try to check that out in October when the re-release comes out.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. All right. I'm actually going over to wearethepit.com for one. This is another. Uh-oh. don't know what happened. Another story about Metallica. Yeah, sorry guys. If you're tired of us reporting about Metallica, we're sorry, but at the same time, it's not really going to be something we're gonna stop. We love to see how artists interpret other artists' works. So when we saw the paintings of Felipe Mora that interpret different songs off of the Metallica album Master of Puppets, we were blown away. And obviously, this is from the author of the story. Felipe Mora is a Colombian artist and part of Third World Posse who has decided to give the songs off of Master of Puppets visual representation. It is also worth noting that Mora has done this before, creating paintings based off of songs from the Metallica albums Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. Mora has created these new paintings based off Master of Puppets for a charity project. This project is called Dealing Out the Agony. Per the project's Indiegogo page, 60% of all profits will be donated to the Children's Hospital of San Vicente Foundation to help improve the quality of care and life expectancy of children dealing with cancer in Colombia. That's the South American country. These paintings are fascinating and represent brilliant detail that will appeal to fans of Metallica and those who are into horror-leaning artwork, like Kirk Hammett is. We have included some images below for you to check out, as well as a trailer involving this project. To learn more details regarding Dealing Out the Agony, head over to the project's Indiegogo page. Will you be buying one of Felipe Mora's paintings? Our personal favorite work is blue painting, which is part of our header image for this article. So they didn't. There's a couple of them that they put in the stories. So like I say, you'll have to go to the Indiegogo page to check out the rest. But like I say, these are the artist's visual representation of like the album, the names of the tracks on the album. So here is his visual representation of Leper Messiah. Pretty neat. And then
cool.
this one is haunting. This one's Master of Puppets. That one's kind of haunting right there.
Oh wow.
So, that one's a little on the scary side. So yeah, he's done paintings of every, doing his own translation of every song on the album. So you'll have to go over to the Indiegogo page to check that out. But I mean, judging by those two pictures, I mean, just
is that the same? Is that the same guy that did the? Is that the same guy that did the Ride the Lightning ones too? Or
yes,
I remember seeing. Yeah, I thought it was. So.
Yeah, it's Felipe Mora. He's from Colombia, and he's done paintings for Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. So he's basically at this point he's just
going through the albums.
Yeah, he's going in chronological order, and you can't. They reference this painting, but this is the Cthulhu painting that he did for Ride the Lightning. So you can see Kirk standing in the front, obviously there. So that's the painting, referencing Call of Cthulhu from Ride the Lightning. So a very, I couldn't even halfway even begin to imagine painting something like this, let alone going ahead and actually putting it on canvas. I mean, some of just talent levels of some of these people is insane.
Yeah. I got a couple of friends that do that stuff, and they're pretty amazing. So.
Well, I mean, my daughter and my wife can both draw, and it's just. It's ridiculous. Of course, I don't know where my daughter got it from. She sure as fuck didn't get it from me. She did not get that from me. I guarantee you that. So,
yeah, my stick figures are uneven. So,
right.
All right. Here's a little update story as well over from Metal Sucks. More details have emerged about the twin Taylor Hawkins tribute shows planned in London on September 3rd at Wembley Stadium and Los Angeles on September 23rd at the Kia Forum. In an effort to get the show in front of as many people as possible, Paramount announced that they will be live streaming the London show across the company's multiple platforms, including Paramount Plus, Pluto TV, and MTV YouTube channels. An hour-long special will also be aired that day on CBS and MTV. While the band wouldn't categorize themselves as metal, and we certainly wouldn't either, that doesn't mean that one of the biggest rock bands on the planet didn't make acquaintances within our realm of music. Over the years, Dave Grohl, Hawkins, and the rest of the band grew close with numerous metal stalwarts, including Metallica's Lars Ulrich, who will be at both shows, Black Sabbath bassist Geezer Butler, and former Skid Row singer Sebastian Bach. Today's announcement also reveals that Blink 182 drummer Travis Barker, AC/DC frontman Brian Johnson, and the Darkness singer guitarist Justin Hawkins will also participate. The September 3rd show will likely be the first time that the surviving Foo Fighters members will be seen at a major event since they canceled all future shows in the wake of Hawkins' sudden death. So far, the lineup September 3rd in London at Wembley Stadium: Travis Barker, Martin Chambers, Josh Freese, Violent, Grohl, Justin Hawkins, Shane Hawkins, James Gang, Brian Johnson, Kesha, which we don't care about that, but whatever.
No,
Luke,
no.
Luke Spiller. Like I said, they touched a lot of lives on in a lot of different genres. So
that's true. That's
Luke
true.
Spiller, you got Luke Spiller, Lars Ulrich, Chris Chaney, Stuart Copeland, Liam Gallagher, Omar Hakeem, Joshua Home, Chrissy Hind, Alan Johannes, John Paul Jones, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, Brian May, Chris Novoselic, Nile Rodgers, Mark Ronson, Supergrass, Roger Taylor, Rufus Taylor, Wolfgang Van Halen, Chevy Metal, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock will all be on that show. So even comedians are out there paying their respects, which is cool. So
hopefully Will Smith won't be there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Dave Chappelle don't punch Chris Rock either. But
I think Dave Chappelle would probably hit Chris Rock harder than Will Smith did.
Yeah, it'd be what the five fingers say in the face. Slap.
That's right.
September 27th in Los Angeles, California, Tequila Forum. The lineup there is Sebastian Bach, Travis Barker, Geezer Butler, Phil Collins, Joe Elliott, Josh Freese, Violent Grohl, James Gang, Shane Hawkins, a lot of the same ones. Mark King, Lars Ulrich, Miley Cyrus will be at that one if anybody cares. Joshua Home, Joan Jett, John Paul Jones is at that one. Gailey, Alex, Brian May, Lance Morissette, Chris Novoselic will be that one. And then you got country artists on here: Leanne Rimes, Pink, Gene Simmons, Nikki Sixx, Chad Smith, Luke Spiller, Roger Taylor, Rufus Taylor. Wolfgang Van Halen's also at that one. Nancy Wilson, Patrick Wilson, and so there's a lot of different genres of music going to be out there celebrating the life of Taylor Hawkins. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Tickets and information are available at the Foo Fighters website. All ticket and merchandise sales will benefit charities chosen by the Hawkins family, Music Support, and Music Cares. So even at this point, they could easily give that to the family, but the family's like, nope, we got money, give it to charities.
But there you go again. Yeah, again, people donating money to charities, and I don't know if and I don't know if you had come back from when I was talking about the story of those paintings. 60% of the profits, 60% of the profits from those paintings in that last story are going to a children's hospital in Colombia. So,
so man, it's awesome. I mean, to know that all these different ways of giving back, and I'm a big supporter of the Wounded Warrior Project. That's my big thing, and I do that. I do that through my Amazon purchases. I do the fundraiser every year for my birthday. So, it's and I feel like that's where my heart is with far as charity. So I think everybody has their own, charity that they like to give to, but that's always been mine. To me, I've always felt like the veterans in our country get treated like shit for the stuff that they did for our country. So
yeah, you're not wrong there. You're definitely not wrong.
If we would spend more time like taking care of them than we would other countries, we would probably be okay. But
Yep.
But
that's
a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, that's definitely a different show on this network. So.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But you are not wrong there. You're not wrong. All right. I don't have any more like news stories as far as current events, but I got a couple of like stories from the past that one of them is like a different perspective on a story that pretty much everybody knows, and then other one is just a story that I thought was funny, but that I've never heard before. So going over to Loudwire for this one. And again, this, everybody knows that back in 1992, James Hetfield got burned on stage. Everybody
Hmm.
knows that by now.
Right.
But this one is, it's really short, but it's a different perspective on it. It's from actually from one of the pyro guys involved in the whole stage setup. So Metallica's 1992 co-headlining tour with Guns N' Roses was not without its fair share of chaos, obviously. Particularly the show at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, where James Hetfield suffered second-degree burns as a result of a pyrotechnics accident. Pete Cappadocia, who was working as GNR's pyrotech on that tour, has recalled what caused the Metallica frontman's accident in a new interview on the Appetite for Distortion podcast. Quote, so Metallica is playing and I'm sitting on a road case beside, because Guns N' Roses is going to go on next, and I'm playing my Game Boy. Shout out to Game Boy.
Yeah. Right.
I'm playing I'm playing a game, and all of a sudden I hear this horrific guitar noise, and everyone's like, James is hurt. So we all run to the stage, Cappadocia said. By the time I got there, the medical team was bringing him off, he continued. What happened was the guy that was shooting it, who was their guy, used to shoot it in Europe for them. They had moved the monitors, they had moved a piece of pyro, and James walked to his spot. Apparently, the rocker walked to his designated location, and the pyro went off as it was supposed to, but then he took about a half step further, and his arm passed over it as it ignited. Metallica, of course, ended their set early, and the vocalist was rushed to the hospital, where his clothes and wedding band were cut off to treat the injuries. And everybody knows the rest of the story. Guns N' Roses went on stage. Axl Rose got sand in his vag, and then he fucking
Yeah.
decided to
Right.
storm off. He decided to storm off stage, and then the city of Montreal basically decided to burn the whole fucking place down. So, but here's one thing that I didn't know, though. Funny enough, Cappadocia had previously worked on the pyrotechnics for both bands, but Lars Ulrich wanted him to work solely with Metallica on that tour. When it came time for him to choose which of the two he wanted to work with, Guns offered him more money, so he went with them. I mean, it happens. Ulrich wasn't pleased. It had been an ill-fated trek from the start. So, so like I say, just a quick little retelling of a story that everybody's already heard, but it's kind of from just a different perspective.
Right.
So
It's pretty cool.
yeah.
And I got one more story too. So over from Loudwire. One person has died and 17 were injured as a result of a partial stage collapse at the Medusa Festival in Spain. The incident happened in the early morning hours of Saturday, August 13th, when high winds ripped through the area of Calera near Valencia around 4:18 a.m. local time. The person killed was a 22-year-old concert goer, according to the Spanish Civil Guard, the country's paramilitary police, who spoke with CNN and is leading the investigation into the tragic event. 17 more people were injured, with the Guardian reporting 3 of them have suffered serious traumas, while 14 others had minor cases. In total, 40 people were given medical attention. The spokesperson for the festival also told CNN that the damage was more than just a stage collapse. Due to strong gusts of wind, the main entrance and the main stage of the Medusa Festival in Calera fell to the ground, they said, adding there were 50,000 people in attendance and it took 40 minutes to clear the grounds. A fan shot video of Twitter shows the intense weather that caused the partial stage collapse. Security appears to be trying to clear the area. And if you want to check that video out, you can over at Loudwire. That story is there. So I'll watch the video. It's, man, like you can hear the wind like through that video. It's like crazy. It's almost like the guys, the guy that's always out in the storms for the weather channels.
Oh, yeah.
You could hear that wind was just, man, it was just whistling through that place, man. It was pretty wild video, man.
I've seen that video, and I wonder. It always makes me wonder. Now, obviously, here in the United States, we're not perfect. We've had
Right.
interstate, we've had bridges collapse and stuff like that. So I mean, we're not perfect. So I'm not trying to say America, but you've got that stage over there, and hell, I'm even going to bring something up that happened here in the United States in just a second. But at the same time, it's weird when you see something to that scale. Like you say, there were 50,000 people at that concert. The stage collapsed due to the weather. But have you ever seen like some of the older videos of like some of these European soccer stadiums and the bleachers collapsing and shit like that? You ever seen those?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that before.
You know, so I wonder. I wonder if I wonder how often, and like I say, this applies here too. I wonder how often some of these buildings are actually checked for structural integrity,
Right.
especially buildings that are supposed to hold that when, tens of thousands of people. Obviously a concert venue is going to be a little more temporary. So, I mean,
Mm,
to a certain extent, when like you have a weather event blow through like that, not to say you expect it, but when it happens, you're like, well, the weather, you can kind of understand it at least. But when you've got like a soccer stadium that's been standing there for God knows how long, that holds 50, 60, 70,000 people, and especially with as passionate as some of these countries are about about their soccer, or football as it were.
mm,
We got our Mexican fans, our German fans, and stuff like that. So I mean, down in Mexico, Latin America, and over there in Europe, soccer is huge.
mm.
So but at the same time, you haven't heard about a stadium collapse like in the NFL or in Major League
Right.
Baseball or anything like that. But so I don't know that enough of these buildings that hold mass amounts of people are checked enough. So it's kind of unfortunate when obviously when that happens, because like I say, I don't know what the death toll was or what it may be. There may still be some people recovering, and there may still be some people who don't recover.
Mm.
Death tolls are revised all the time. So, it's unfortunate that happened. Uh, and it's funny that you bring that up, funny, strange, not funny, haha, of course.
Right,
But
right, right.
there was a story that I saw this morning about how Anthrax and Black Label Society had to cancel their concert last night because the damn stage broke in Rochester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Uh, apparently Hatebreed was about 5 songs into their set, and something happened to the stage, and they had to cut their set short. And then it took 40 minutes for them to basically determine that the stage wasn't safe. So Black Label and Anthrax, they had to cancel the show. So,
Mm,
I mean, thankfully in that case, they were able to get to it before anything happened to any of the bands or any of the people in
mhm.
attendance. But I mean, it's just, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously it's
It,
never something you expect at a sporting event, wherever you're going. It's something you don't expect. I mean, you just never know. But at the same time, you know when you've got a place that's going to hold a lot of people. I mean, 300 is a lot of people depending on the size of the building. And then you
right.
got, so I mean, 30, 40, 50,000 at a festival, 60, 70, 80 at a sporting event.
Hmm.
So I mean, these places need to be looked after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like when you think about like fairs and stuff like that. You ride this ride, but you don't realize that it's taken down and put up 100 fucking times a year probably. So
Mm-hmm.
it could be that one time that they forgot that boat. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
never know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's always better to be in a venue where the stage is always there, or you know
Mm-hmm.
or it's a concrete slab stage. You don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But of course, the venues like the bigger one here, Bridgestone. They play hockey and everything in it, so they can't just leave the
Mm-hmm.
stage up. So
Right.
so so I'm pretty sure they put that together. Probably days before the show. But
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always wondered too, is it just like they have their own stuff, like their own stage at that arena, and they just put it up for each band every time, and then you know because
Oh, that's a good question.
because they do multiple shows a week sometimes there, so I couldn't imagine them
Mm-hmm.
taking it down and putting one back, right back up. I would think they would just leave it there and just have different bands decorate the way they want to.
That's actually a good question. I've actually never really thought about that, because obviously
Yeah,
everyone brings
right.
their own general stage show and like backdrops and everything, but
Hmm.
I don't know if everybody is using the same basic stage. That's actually a very good question. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't never even thought about that. Never even
Well,
thought about that.
and I don't get high, so I don't think about this stuff when I'm high. So
Yeah.
uh, 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 I have people in the family that do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not like stay stoned all the time, but they'll smoke and then they'll start thinking of crazy stuff like that. Hey man, you ever think about? And I'm like, no, I really don't ever think about that. But whatever there, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Funny stuff. But yeah, it's kind of wild that you, like you said, that they don't have some kind of, especially like, you know, if you're doing like these outdoor stadiums, you know, you got to make sure that it's going to get weathered. I mean, you got to make sure that it's going to be, you know, upheld for, you know,
Mm-hmm.
future concerts or whatever. You know, we
Right.
have a couple of outdoor venues around here that, you know, I'm sure the stage has a roof over it, but that don't mean rain and stuff can't blow in it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm getting at. It's like, yeah, it has the roof over it, but I mean, rain. You know, we know rain and wind and stuff blow. So I mean, you know,
Yep.
no guarantee that's not going to get damaged. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know Ascend Amphitheater obviously has a roof over it, but it's
right,
open, but it's an open air venue. And then
right.
and obviously I haven't been to the first Tennessee Amphitheater yet over there in Franklin. So I'm
Yeah, I
assuming
haven't either. So
I'm assuming it's probably the same setup.
yeah, I'm pretty sure most of them are just like the old Starwood that we used to go to. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of course, that one was like, you know, that one had probably a couple hundred seats under it too. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Yeah.
so I mean,
That one
it would
was
have
a
to,
yeah, that one was a little more the stage was a little more protected
right,
from the weather. Yeah,
right,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
But you know, they also always had a backstage for their festivals, so that you know that one was always like outside with no cover. So
Yes.
so so
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, it's kind of interesting to find. You know, that would be kind of interesting to find out whether they, you know, how often they do check that stuff. Uh, Probably not like they should, I would imagine.
Right. All right.
just get a
So
just get a couple of 600-pound life guys up there jumping up and down. Yeah, it's good.
right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. You got anything else? Because I've got one
Nope,
more. I've got one.
nope. That's all I
All
have.
right.
So,
All right. Well, I've got. All right. Well, you talked about a road story before, and I've
mhm.
got one that's going to make the gentleman in the audience cringe a little bit. Um,
oh,
yeah. This one is
oh
from
yeah, I
Metalhead.
did see
This
that.
one. This one is from Metal Edge.
Mm.
Tesla bassist Brian Wheat and guitarist Frank Hannon recently appeared on SiriusXM's Hair Nation, where they got into a conversation with DJ Tommy London about their biggest "quote unquote" Spinal Tap moments. Wheat played coy at first, saying, "quote People always ask us that question, and I don't really know how to answer it. There's always some weird shit that happens now and again. That's when you've been doing it as long as we have. There's always weird shit, every now and again, but I don't know." End quote. Soon enough, however, the bases opened up. Quote, "I zipped up my private parts in the zipper one time," he admitted, "because I was trying to pee on the side of the stage while Frank was doing the acoustic intro to Little Susie, and it took longer than I thought." After asking London if he could get graphic, Wheat admitted, "I got the head of my pecker stuck in my zipper," and he continued, I was playing the bass, right? I'm playing Little Susie, do 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 do, and my tech's trying to get it out, and I'm screaming, right? So
Wow.
So you can hear Wheat give the dirty details in the clip above, and like I say, there's an audio clip of the interview in the story over at Metal Edge, but it brought to mind that part.
Frankie
That
Bass.
right, yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what I thought when I was like, "How do you get the beans above the Frank?"
He was masturbating.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was exactly what it made me think of when I read it.
Oh.
But you gotta, as bad as you feel for Brian Wheat, you gotta feel bad for the bass roadie, right?
For having to try to get it out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Just
So
cut your losses, man. Get back out there. Oh man.
well, the funny here's the funny thing is, like, between that story and then some of the road stories we've heard, John O'Connor
Yeah.
was telling us that he basically, shit himself on stage, you know, not to not to put that out there, but he told us, so we figure it's
Right.
probably
Yeah.
fair game to tell everybody else. But and then one of my coworkers is in a band, and he told us a story about one time where he had the same thing happen, and he just had to power through it. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're going up on stage, go to the bathroom first.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Oh man, we got to.
Mm.
I'm sure it's funny for us to laugh at because we didn't experience it, and I'm sure he kind of laughed as he was retelling a story in the interview. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I I've had that happen to myself. Like I've kind of like nicked myself, So I
Mhm.
mean, I've never had it happen to that extent, but I think probably most of the guys listening have probably had that happen to a
Mm.
certain degree at some point where you pinch it or you graze it
Mhm.
or something like that. It's
Yeah.
not
You know,
fun.
sure it's probably happened more often to people like Tommy Lee, but
Tommy, that's the funny thing is that's probably why Tommy Lee wears speedos all the time. There's no zippers.
yeah, you know him. He probably that thing would probably break the zipper, but
Probably would. Yeah. He wears a
man,
lot of leather pants too. I think he
that
just
is
pulls
true.
those up. He
Just
just
pulls them
pulls
up,
those
yeah.
up and he pulls those up and they stick to him. So
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it was funny. Like, my wife had to like find that because she kept seeing the picture. She goes, "What the fuck is everybody talking about? I want to see." So she finally found it, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And then, and of course, me being trying to be funny, I said, "Man," she goes, "Have you seen it?" I said, "No." And then she showed it to me. I said, "Man, that's a lot of hepatitis, man. God damn."
I yeah
uh,
I personally have still not seen an unedited one, and I'm not really in that big of a hurry to see an unedited one. I mean,
Well,
you know,
not taking away from him at all, but I think a lot of it too was from the angle he was shooting it at that made it probably look bigger than what it actually is. But but
yeah.
if you ever seen the sex tapes, he's
Hmm.
he is a little gifted there. But
He's doing fine. Yeah, he's
yeah,
doing fine.
yeah.
I think he may have gotten in line twice and nobody caught him. So
Oh man, yeah.
it's like, you sure you
All
weren't
right.
here once already? No, I'm not. Well, just got here.
Uh, all
Good for
right.
you,
I
Tommy.
guess
Good for you.
yeah. I guess we can hit the hitting the road segment real quick. Since
Yeah,
we're on the topic of
it's gonna.
current events.
Yeah,
I
it'll
don't
be
yeah
quick.
I only have three, so I don't know what you
Yeah,
found, but
I've got about a page and a half.
okay, so you got more than I
Yeah,
do, obviously. So
yeah, but it's
um,
still not a ton.
yeah, I think you use the PRP more than I do, so I'm sure they got more on
Hmm.
there than what I get off of metal sucks and injection and all that other stuff. So
Yeah,
uh,
I do still look around, but usually,
yeah,
after,
it's used the same stuff probably.
usually, yeah.
All
Just a
right,
quick question. Just a quick
yeah,
question before we get started. What which one of your Wi-Fi's are you on? Because on my end, your video feed is frozen.
yeah, but I'm
Because it may just be me. I just want to make sure.
nope, I'm frozen on Facebook too. So I don't know. It's probably doing some fucking update. I hate this damn laptop. I've
Well, and I know
been saying I want to buy a new one, but we've been looking for cars and I ain't really had a chance to go look for laptops. But
yeah. Well, and
now
well, the weather the weather.
I'm moving on Facebook again. So I don't know.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to
Yeah,
check in real quick and
that's one of the
make sure it
reasons.
wasn't me.
That's one of the reasons why I log into the Facebook one too, because we can see the live feed there. And usually, as
Yeah.
long as I'm moving there, I'm usually okay. So
Okay. All right.
because the
Yeah. There you go.
StreamYard one does freeze us up. It actually it had you
Mm-hmm.
froze up earlier, but on my end, so I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I'm actually on the good Wi-Fi, so
Okay. I just want to make sure.
yeah,
And
it's doing
the weather
it's
is being a little, yeah. So
yeah, it's doing some kind of update because I'm having problems moving my damn cursor around. So
okay.
it's
All
just being a piece of shit. So,
right. Okay. All right.
all right. Anyway, the first one I have here for hitting the road, Lars Ulrich's son's band, Tappe Houston, are going on tour with the Melvins, which is kind of a odd setup, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
aside from Tappe Houston's short supporting role on the tour, the Melvins will also be joined by We Are the Asteroid on every date. It's called the Five-Legged Tour. I guess it'd be the Six-Legged Tour if Tommy Lee was there. But
That's right. Yeah. It would.
we just got jokes for days. For me, so
Yeah. The
um,
Tommy Lee's dick is the gift that keeps on giving. Apparently.
uh, That tour starts on September 5th in San Francisco, California, at the Great American Music Hall, and ends on October 29th in Los Angeles, California, at the Halloween Freakout. So, and then we have, and actually, I think that leg of the tour was pretty extensive. So I don't think they missed too many days in between. So it's a pretty long tour there. Um, In Flames are adding more tour dates. This time with Born of Osiris, Darkest Hour, and Hammerhead. Looks like it's only about a week long though. So October 17th in Tampa, Florida at Janus Live, and that ends on October 28th in Reading, Pennsylvania at the Reverb. No Darkest Hour on that date. And last one I have was Capra with the Grasshopper Lies Heavy. Um, Kind of an odd name for a band.
I know.
um, but that tour kicks off on 9/16 at the Lost Well in Austin, Texas, with I Hate God. So I'm guessing they're probably opening up for I Hate God, I would imagine. And that one ends on 9/23 at the Furnace Fest in Birmingham, and that only has Capra only there. So that is actually all that I've had for the Hitting the Road
Okay.
on my end. So
Yeah. All right. That's fine. All right. Well, for my contribution for this week, the 13th through the 19th, starting over at the PRP like normal, we have Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. They're going to be getting together for a reunion show with Gideon as the opening act on September 22nd in Tampa, Florida at the Orpheum. Then we have The Plot in You, Silent Planet, Cane Hill, and Avoid going out starting November 2nd in Denver, Colorado at the Oriental Theater, finishing December 3rd in Minneapolis, Minnesota at Amsterdam. No Nashville stop on that tour. Then Terror, Despise, and Last Wishes are going to the UK, starting, doing a quick run starting October 25th in Milton Keynes at Crawford Arms, finishing November 1st in Plymouth, UK at The Depot. Then Loathe has canceled their European and UK tours with Void of Vision and Omerta to focus on finishing the recording of their new album. So keep your eyes open for that. All you fans of Loathe out there. Then there's been some dates that have leaked for the fall leg of Max and Igor Cavalera's Beneath Arise tour. Supposedly there will be more dates to follow, so we'll let you guys know if that happens. The dates that have come out so far, the start date is September 29th in Ventura, California at the Ventura Theater, finishing October 29th in Santa Ana, California at the Observatory. There's no Nashville date on this leg because they were just at Brooklyn Bowl with Warbringer and somebody else earlier this summer. So they've already been through here. Then Kowloon, Walled City, and Metz are going out for a quick run.
Where the hell? Where was we at?
Huh?
So where was we at for that one?
I think we were. I don't remember where we were, but I know I remember reporting on it because I remember it right off the top of my head that they were through here. I have to look back and see exactly when that was. I know it was earlier this summer, but it may have been around the time. It may have been around, if I remember right, it was around the time where we had gone to a couple other shows.
Okay.
Let's see. So we have Kowloon, Walled City, and Metz going out, like a quick 1 week run starting December 7th in Phoenix, Arizona at Valley Bar, finishing December 12th in Portland, Oregon at Doug Fir Lounge. No Nashville date. This is basically a West Coast tour. They're not really coming out past the Rocky Mountains. Then we have Holy Fawn, Psalm, and Grievo starting November 1st in San Diego, California at Soda Bar, finishing November 13th in Denver, Colorado at the Marquee Theater. Then we have Agnostic Front, Charger, Spirit World, and Last Hope are going on a fall European tour starting October 7th in Brussels, Belgium at Magazine 4, finishing October 29th in Chemnitz, Germany at AJZ. Then we have Genocide Pact, No Mas, and Vomit Forth going out starting November 10th in Baltimore, Maryland at Otto Bar, finishing November 20th in Brooklyn, New York at St. Vitus. Vomit Forth will not be at that show in New York. They will be in Nashville November 13th at Dark Matter. Helmet has canceled their previously rescheduled June tour dates due to logistical impossibilities. So the rescheduled dates have been postponed or canceled rather. So I don't know what's going to go on with Helmet moving forward. So we'll have to see about that. Then moving over to blabbermouth.net. When Jason gets back, we will talk about this one for a minute. This one is I don't know what to make of this one, considering the tour that they are already on. I don't know where the hell this one came from, but you have Five Finger Death Punch, Brantley Gilbert, and Corey Marks going out on tour together. And if you're wondering what the fuck, that exactly was my first thought when I read it. Anyway, that tour starts November 9th in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Van Andel Arena and ends October. Why do I keep saying October? December 17th in Las Vegas, Nevada at Michelob Ultra Arena. They will be coming to Nashville November 16th at Bridgestone Arena. So, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what Five Finger Death Punch's thought process here, considering that just last night they started the tour that Jason alluded to with Megadeth and as a support act and the Who, and I forget the opening act right off the top of my head. So I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do with this one. So, but as much of a fan of Five Finger Death Punch as I am, so it's whatever. If you don't like Five Finger Death Punch, I get it. Some people do, some people don't. So, you hear? I don't know what he's got going on. Hey, there you are. There he is. Yeah. So I was just going over. I'm just talking real quick about the must-see tour of the fall, the Five Finger Death Punch, Brantley Gilbert, and Corey Marks tour. That's about to happen. So I was just going over with everybody that one. And you're shaking your head. That's exactly that's one of the things I did. After I made sure I leaned forward to make sure I was reading that shit right. I was like, what the fuck? So
yeah.
So I don't know what the thought process is here, considering like I was just talking about. I was like, they're on tour with Megadeth and the Who.
And then you do that. What the hell?
And then you want to go on tour with a couple of country music artists. So I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the end game is here, but yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
Right.
which is unfortunate because the tour with Megadeth and the Who and everything isn't coming to Nashville, but this one is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a downer, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and well, I'll talk more about the album or whatever later, but
yeah,
Five Finger is I've seen them a couple of times already, so I mean, unless they're just with somebody that I would like go out of my way to go see, I probably wouldn't care anyway. But
well, that's the thing is
just to be honest, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have definitely made. No, probably about it. I would have made more of an effort to go see the current tour with Megadeth and
I definitely would check that out. But
leaps and bounds over. I would for this one. I'm not going to see a couple of country artists. There's no way.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people to go see because I'm sure there's fans of all of those that like all three of those bands.
I mean, I guess
we're not one of them. We're not one of them.
No, definitely not. No, not at all.
I don't know. Like sometimes I think that the genre crossing over goes a little bit too far. Sometimes it's
agreed.
It's like I could see them saying, "Oh well, Foo Fighters and Metallica's on a tour together." Okay, I get that maybe.
That one makes you can at least see the.
Yeah, but if you come out and tell me, Fleetwood Mac's going on tour with Slayer, I'd been like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Right. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
But,
yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, whatever. All success to them, hopefully. But
Yeah, whatever works. All right, and then I've got two more. Moonspell has canceled their summer North American tour with Swallow the Sun and Witherfall due to quote unquote unsolvable logistic and transportation problems. So,
Mm-hmm.
who knows
That's
what
be
that
a going.
entails?
That seems to be a going thing.
Yeah, it
I
does.
know. I
Yeah.
know. Like one. I know. Like I seen a story a while back where one of the bands couldn't get a bus. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
they could.
That was
You know.
that was cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
cold. They couldn't get a bus or a driver. So
it's
yeah,
freaking
it's
crazy, man. Like what's going on? It's like.
yeah, it is.
Mm.
And then my last one here, we've got Attila, Catch Your Breath, and Tala going out on tour starting September 30th in Houston, Texas at Scout Bar and finishing October 16th in West Palm Beach at Respectable Street. And there's no national date for that. So that will wrap up the Hit the Road segment for the 13th through the 19th. Done and
I
done.
guess we'll jump into the notable moments in history real quick before we get into
Mm-hmm.
our top 10 and album reviews. So
Yes.
uh, there was a lot of good albums this week too. I'm still listening to some of them.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah. Me too.
there's a couple. There's a couple. I'll get with you after the show. But there's a couple I think you would enjoy a little more than I did. But
Okay. And
they're a
I'll
little more the melodic power metal
okay.
style stuff. So,
Nice. Well, I
like I
will
said,
tell.
it
And
was it was good to me too. But I'm just saying I think you probably appreciate it a little more than.
yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And not to jump too far ahead, but I will say this. There was one album that I was listening, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away. There was one album that I was listening to that I was not ready for some of the songs in a good way, But
Yeah.
I was not ready.
Yeah. All right. So notable moments in metal history from the 14th through the 20th. August 14th of 2020, English hard rock and heavy metal bass player Pete Way died at the age of 69 following life-threatening injuries he had sustained in an accident 2 months earlier. He was the bassist for UFO and also a founding member of Wasted and Fastway, and notably played with Michael Schenker Group and Ozzy Osbourne. So Pete Way had a pretty good resume there.
Mm-hmm.
August 14th, 2018, Jill Janis died by suicide at age 42. She was the lead singer of American heavy metal bands Huntress, the Starbreakers, and Chelsea Girls. And then June. I don't know what the hell I got June from. August 14th. Sorry, rewind. August 14th.
I keep saying October for some dumbass reason. So.
Well, don't push us that far ahead. I mean,
I know.
Going back's okay.
You're right. I know.
August 14th, 2016, American keyboard and synthesizer player James Woolley died at the age of 49. Woolley was known for his playing with the industrial metal group Nine Inch Nails, as well as Rob Halford's one-time band 2, which also included John Five of Marilyn Manson, and of course, John Five now plays with Rob Zombie, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
August 14th, 2002, which is a day I always will remember. Dave Williams, lead singer for hard rock band Drowning Pool, was found dead on the band's tour bus during Ozzy Osbourne's Ozfest tour in Manassas, Virginia. The autopsy concluded that he suffered from a form of heart disease, which is, it's unreal. Mm-hmm. The band's debut album, Sinner, had sold over 1 million copies in the U.S. since its release in June of 2001. But of course, you got to look at this was a year, so they sold 1 million copies in a year, so it's pretty damn good. That was that was so like I feel like that band would have had a more they would probably be bigger right now, I think, if Dave was still alive.
I think so too,
because I think he gave him that element that was different. So the new singer's pretty good though.
Yeah, I mean, but Dave Williams definitely had an energy and a stage presence about him.
Right. Yeah. And then August 15th, 1995. Of course, this was a day that most people know if they watched The Dirt. Vince Neil's daughter Skylar Neil died of cancer at the age of 4, which is just saying that out loud pisses me off, man.
Mm-hmm, me too.
That we don't have cures for this shit, man, where people can live their life past fucking 4 years old. The Motley Crue singer later founded the Skylar Neil Memorial Fund in her honor. Since that time, Neil and the foundation have raised awareness and funding for various children's illnesses and has donated millions of dollars to the T.J. Martell Foundation, and it sponsors an annual golf tournament to raise money for children with cancer. Like I said, just reading that history off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help it. August 16th,
I know.
1986. Rick Allen, drummer with Def Leppard, made his first live appearance with the band after losing his arm in a car accident when they appeared at the Monsters of Rock Festival in Castle Donington, England. Then August 20th of 2020, American rock drummer Frank Banali died of pancreatic cancer at age 68. He is most widely known for his work with multi-platinum metal band Quiet Riot. August 20th, 1988, Iron Maiden, Kiss, David Lee Roth, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses, and Halloween all appeared at that year's Monsters of Rock Festival in Castle Donington, England, of course. Two rock fans died while slam dancing as Guns N' Roses played. That's kind of a
Guns N' Roses, man.
Yeah. Just got all that. Something's always following them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh man. I was just like, how at what point do you like keep slam dancing? Do you realize, okay, I'm fucking up?
Right. Yeah. I know.
Oh man. But that was all the notable moments in history I had. So
All right. Well, as far as the historical releases go, we're gonna breeze through this pretty quick. Leading off with a couple that I found from after the show last week. So, August 13th of 2010, Cataclysm releases their 10th studio album, Heaven's Venom. And August 13th, 1991, Mr. Bungle releases their self-titled debut studio album. And before I go any further, I forgot this is this part of the segment is brought to you guys by This Day in Metal over on Twitter and Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde over on Facebook. So credit where credit is due for sure.
that's right.
Yep. Moving ahead to the 14th, Steve Vai releases his 8th studio album, The Story of Light, which debuted at number 78 on the Billboard 200. And In This Moment releases their 4th studio album, Blood, which debuted at number 15 on the Billboard 200.
Yeah, probably one of their best albums.
Yeah, I would say so. Between that and Ritual, yeah, sure. Let's see. Moving ahead, August 15th, 1982, Y&T releases Black Tiger. Moving ahead to the 16th, August 16th, 2013, Flesh God Apocalypse releases their 3rd studio album, Labyrinth. August 16th, 2005, LA Guns released their 9th studio album, Tales from the Strip. And August 16th, 2019, Killswitch Engage releases their 8th studio album, Atonement. Moving ahead to the 17th, August 17th, 2000, Still of Filth releases their 7th studio album, Thornography. August 17th, 2004, Leaves Eyes releases their debut studio album, Lovelorn. August 17th, 1996, Michael Kiske releases his debut solo studio album, Instant Clarity. And August 17th, 2008, Doro releases her 13th studio album, Forever Warriors, Forever United. Moving ahead to the 18th, August 18th, 2017, Eloveity releases their 7th studio album, Evocation 2 Pantheon. August 18th, 2014, Ace Frehley releases his 6th studio album, Space Invader, which peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200. August 18th, 2004, Enough Zenuff releases their 11th studio album, which was just a question mark. That was the album. That was the album title, just question mark. And then August 18th, 1998, Korn releases their 3rd studio album, Follow the Leader, which peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200. I'd say rightfully so. Moving ahead a little bit to today's date, August 20th, 1990, Black Sabbath releases their 15th studio album, Tear. And August 20th, 1991, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts released their 8th studio album, Notorious. So those are the historical releases for the 14th through the 20th. This week in metal history.
All right. Now I guess we will kick over to our top 10 of the week. We decided to top 10 metal songs to do with animals. And we didn't specify, so I'm guessing that any animal was available. If you could find a song about frogs, and I hope you threw it on there.
The Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly.
Yeah, I mean, we could have definitely threw that on there. I mean, that'd been funny, actually. All right, I will kick off here. First one I took was Lamb of God. Of course, taking it from the band name.
Nice.
I try to like get different songs on the list and just my favorites. So I went with Descending this week from 2006. I don't think you can go wrong with any Lamb of God song, but
Not really. No.
And my second one I took was Testament Brotherhood of the Snake from the same title album from 2016. Next one I took was Disturbed the Animal from Asylum 2010. Then I actually came across this one accidentally because I was looking for something else, but then I was like, I've never heard this song, so I wanted to listen to it, and then I liked it, so I'm gonna throw it on here.
There you go.
It's from a band called Falsifier. The song was Dog Eat Dog from Misery in Depth EP of 2020. I took a page out of your book here with Steel Panther. I took It Won't Suck Itself from Balls Out 2011.
There you go.
Then next one I took was Gojira Lizard Skin from Terra Incognita from 2001. Next one I took was Megadeth the Scorpion from The System Has Failed 2004. The next one I took was Avatar The Eagle Has Landed from Feathers and Flesh 2016.
That's a good song. Man, that's a good song.
Next one I took was Metallica The Four Horsemen from Kill 'Em All 1983. I took Beartooth from the song I took was The Lines from Disgusting 2014. And then my extra ones on here was Wolves at the Gate, Weight of Glory from Eulogies from earlier this year. That was a great album too. And then took North Lane Vultures from Alien 2019. And then the last one I took was Of Mice and Men, Timeless from Echo 2021. And
nice.
I did have one more. Shit, I forgot. It didn't make it on. And I was like, there's something missing. I was just looking it up. And the other one I had was Devil Driver, Nest of Vipers from Dealing with Demons.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
So
okay.
That was my top 10 plus 4, I guess.
Top 10. All right. Well, here's my top 10 plus 5. So, it'll be another good playlist. Leading off, I also had Brotherhood of the Snake by Testament off of Brotherhood of the Snake from 2017. Then I had I Am the Dog by Nevermore off of Dreaming Neon Black from 1999. Then I had Animal Fuck Like a Beast from Wasp, which was a single that came out back in 1984. It was Tipper Gore's favorite song.
Yeah, it was.
Fuck that bitch. Her and Nancy Reagan. Then I had Becoming the Dragon by Trivium off of The Crusade from 2006. I was tempted to go with The Court of the Dragon, but I was like, nah, that'll be Jason's. So,
well, I was trying to stay within like realist, trying to be a realist here. So.
I know. But then I went with Thunder Horse by Death Clock from the Death album 2007. Went with Screaming Eagles from Sabaton off of Coat of Arms from 2010. Then I went with The Eagle Flies Alone by Arch Enemy off of Will to Power from 2017. I'm a huge Arch Enemy fan, but I really don't like that album name, Will to Power. I don't get it. I don't know. Just as an aside, it's just weird. Then I also went with Nest of Vipers from Devil Driver off of Dealing with Demons 1 from 2020. So good. I can't wait for the next one by Devil Driver. Good. Yeah, this one's a little bit more vague, but I went with Super Beast by Rob Zombie off of Hellbilly Deluxe 1998, and then my 10th one for my top 10 was Food for the Worms by Exodus off of Blood In Blood Out from 2014. Then my honorable mentions, quote unquote, I went with Eyes of a Panther by Steel Panther from Feel the Steel 2009. You had to that I was going to have Steel Panther on your side. You knew I was going to. Then I had She-Wolf by Megadeth off of Cryptic Writings from 1997. Of Wolf and Man from Metallica off the Black Album from 91. Then I went with War Pigs by Black Sabbath from Paranoid 1970. And then Snakebite from Alice Cooper off of Hey Stupid from 1991. So
Nice.
So yeah, there's my top
I
10
think
plus
I think
five.
I think we probably could have. I think we could have done a top 10 just on wolves, probably.
Probably, I'm sure we could have,
uh,
but
uh,
leaving it a little more open was definitely better. So.
yeah, yeah.
So I'll get the playlist compiled after the show, get it sent over to Jason. We'll get it put together, and then we'll get it posted for you guys. Ideally by the end of the afternoon, but we'll see how it goes. But it'll be definitely before the weekend is out. So
Yeah. It was a. I mean, probably going to get to the point where we're going to have to do like top tens of bands or something because they're running out of.
well, well, the funny thing is I've thought about it, and what we could do is we could just start just at the beginning of the alphabet and just go, all right,
Yeah,
bands that
I
start with
thought I
A,
thought about that
go.
too.
Bands that start with B, go. So I mean, that could be because I mean, hell, that's 26 weeks right there. I mean, that's half a
Yeah,
year.
a
So
half a year. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean that may be
Well, so
something
far,
we can,
so far we're still got I still got a couple of topics lined up, so we're not
yeah.
we're
I
not
mean,
there yet, but we're definitely getting there.
yeah. So maybe maybe if we're able to make it through the rest of 22, maybe we'll start 23 with just A and just see how it goes. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Do what we
but
have to
yeah.
do. I guess.
Yeah. Or I may just go ahead and ask Angela if she's got a couple more topics because she's given
Yeah,
us a
right.
few. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's given us some. So
All right. I guess we will dig into some of these album reviews.
mm-hmm.
So before I dig into the one that I did, I'll talk about that Five Finger Death Punch. I don't know if you listened to it yet, or
I did. I listened to it. I listened to it last night.
you know. So what was your take?
The first half of it was better than the second half of it. Um, there were. It's not my. It's probably not gonna be maybe in my top 3 or 4 Five Finger Death Punch
Right.
albums. There were definitely songs on it that I liked. The singles that came out
Mm.
were good. I like those. Let me go back and pull up the track list again real quick because there were a couple of tracks I didn't care
It
for at
was
all.
it was
Um,
definitely it was like I'll say this: if you're a Five Finger Death Punch fan and you're looking for something different, then you're not going to get it. So I mean, it's definitely a Five Finger Death Punch album. So I mean,
well, it definitely is, man, and but I also don't 100% agree with that. There were a couple of songs on there that were different for them and that leaned a little bit more towards rap, and I just didn't like those.
hmm.
Like
Yeah,
I think IOU was one of them,
that was one of the
and if
singles that came out. So
and maybe that wasn't shit. Like I say, I need to pull the track listing back up because I can't remember right off the top of my head. But there were two songs on the album. It was like there were two songs on the album. I was like, yeah, I don't really care
I thought
for
it was
that
a
one.
little bit more ballady than usual for them too. So
Well,
um,
that may be kind of true, but I'm kind of gotten used to that
yeah, I mean,
from them.
well, I mean that's why I
Okay,
said if you're expecting anything different, you're not going to get much
yeah.
different than what the last couple
Oh,
albums
okay.
have been.
Well, that's true. Okay, all right. I've pulled up the track listing, and it was Judgment Day and Thanks for Asking were the two tracks I didn't like.
Oh man, Judgment Day's been like when I was looking at the comments on the album, that's been some of people's favorite tracks. So
Well,
uh,
I mean that's
yeah,
totally
so,
fine because we know a lot of people don't like Five Finger Death
yeah,
Punch at all, and you and I are
well,
both
true.
fans. So I mean, but I mean, it's 12 tracks long. So I mean, if there are two that I don't like, I mean, you
Yeah.
still got 10. There's still 10 that are good, but like I say, I'm not 100% sure this will be my favorite one. I mean, I definitely liked Fate a lot better.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like you said, by and large, it is still, it's still Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, there are
I,
there
I,
are
I
some.
guess I guess I should say if you're thinking they're going to go, if you're thinking you're getting a war as the answer type by Finger Death Punch, you're not getting that. I guess that's what I should
No, no,
say.
no, no. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That that I can.
you're definitely getting the fates.
Mhm. Yeah, I will. I will
Stuff like
definitely.
that.
I could definitely agree with that. But yeah. I mean, there was a
I,
lot of good.
'cause I,
There was a lot of good
cause
material on there.
I think a lot of fans want them to get back to that style, and they're they're playing to their strengths right now.
Yeah. Well, they have
which
evolved. They've
a lot
evolved.
of bands do. A lot of bands do that. They kind of get with the you know getting on radio and airplay and stuff, and they play to that. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously Five Finger's been successful with it. They're number one and number two on charts right now with some of the everything they're doing. So
Yeah.
can't really argue with that. So I think the top they're the second most listened to the metal band on Spotify now. I think behind
Yeah.
Metallica. I think I read that somewhere. I was like, wow,
Oh, really?
that's
Okay. All right.
yeah. I think that's kind of I think that's what I read. I can't remember. They were behind Metallica and some I don't remember if it was Spotify or where it was, but I was kind of like
Yeah.
Metallica was one, they were two, and like Ivan was even talking about it. He said, "Hell, I couldn't even believe it when they told me." So he was even surprised by it.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So like I say, I mean, I enjoyed it. From
mhm.
by the album as a whole, sure, I enjoyed it. Like I say, there's a couple songs I could have done without, but I mean, hell, that was the same thing that happened with the last Slipknot album too. So I mean,
Right. And then I'd also listened to the new Soil work. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of the
oh,
album.
I
It's Over
over
Getting Heaton.
over over given Heaton, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But I mean, that album is actually pretty damn good, man. I
Really
listened to it twice. I've listened to it twice already. I think it's really, really good
nice.
for.
Okay,
Uh,
I may
they've
give
kind of
a
evolved.
give it a listen.
They've kind of evolved a little too, but not. You know, there was like one song in there I think that was kind of. You could say, yeah, that's a little bit ballady for them, but most of it was pretty pretty heavy, pretty good. So
And yeah, I may check that one out. I was thinking about listening to that one, but there were a couple other ones on the list that I wanted to
yeah,
listen to ahead of it. So I'm
yeah.
still working on. I listened to aside from the one that I did for my formal review, I also listened to the new Hammer King.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to that yesterday, and it was good. I liked. Overall, I like the last album better, the one from last year. But I mean, it's still a Scandinavian power metal album. So I
Right.
mean, like I say, I still liked it. It was still right up my alley. It did get a little stronger as the album, like So for me, the album got stronger as it went on. I liked the songs and the back half of the album a little better than the front half, but you know overall that was a good album from start to finish too. And then the other one that I'm still working on, I'm almost done with. I started listening to the new Spirit Adrift this morning,
Yeah. Well, those are all
and
covers, right?
yeah, I didn't at first. I didn't at first,
Yeah.
and then because I was working on Angela's car this morning, uh, and I had it playing in the garage. So it wasn't until everything dies
Hmm.
until I was like, until kind of caught my attention. I was like, is this fucking typo negative? And then, and then, and then I was like, oh shit, it is typo negative. And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, because I had it sitting off to the side because I was laying on the floor in the garage. I was up underneath her car. So I wasn't paying attention to the track list. So I was like, oh shit, this is fucking typo negative. And then fucking Hollow started. I was like, wait a
Right.
minute.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like I say, I was not ready. I was not ready for that. And then, obviously,
Which was a good cover. It
oh, it
was
was a
actually
great cover. Man, they
yeah.
did so good. Of course, Everything Dies was that.
Yeah.
They did a good job on
And then
that
there
too.
was a Metallica was song on there as well.
Yeah, Escape was after it. So I was like,
Escapes. Yeah.
holy
Escape. Yeah.
God. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So currently, as I sit here, I'm on track number 6, waiting for an alibi. So I still have two more. I still have two more
Mm.
songs to finish. So I'm 3/4 of the way through with the new Spirit Adrift. But I mean, it's even though it's all covers, it's a banger. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then those are the two albums I've gotten all the way through, and then this fourth one that I'm working on, and then on top of the one that I did obviously for the formal
Yeah.
write up. So
And I started listening to the Eruption Tellurian Rupture this morning. So I'm about
okay,
4 or 5 songs into that one. So
okay,
so
and
far it's been
then
pretty good.
I did listen to one that I meant to get to last week, but I listened to it the other day at work. What was it? It was an EP. What was it? Oh, it was that Bleed Like My Lee, that Naksu Cow
Hmm.
EP, that one that made me laugh because it was a nod to that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie
Yeah,
Kickboxer. So I listened to that. It was actually really good. It
yeah.
wasn't bad. It was like 5 tracks, maybe. I don't know what the overall track length was. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. But I was I I wasn't holding out a whole lot of hope,
Hmm.
because like the Roger Podacter one, the Laces Out,
Right. Yeah.
that one I really didn't care for at all, because like I say, it was mostly punk, and I'm not a
Hmm.
punk fan. But this is what gave me pause before I listened to it, and it was 5 songs long, a little under 22 minutes. This is the cover.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so when I saw the cover, I was like, oh man. But it was
Like, well, at least they're playing it to that, like we
oh,
like we
dude,
thought. So
they totally steered into the skid with this one. But it actually, truth be told, it was really good. It was metalcore. There were some thrash elements in there, but it was
cool.
metalcore, a little bit of thrash. There
I'll
was a
check it
there was
out.
a yeah, there was a little bit, because I can't remember what year Kickboxer came out, but I know it was like
Oh,
89,
80.
maybe
Yeah.
somewhere in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
89 maybe. And they threw some of the audio in there from the movie. So this was definitely just, I mean, it was totally Kickboxer. But
Yeah.
like I say, a little
It's
bit of
it's
metalcore, a little bit of
it's
thrash.
it's funny. I just watched that the other day on one of
Oh,
the
did you?
yeah,
Yeah.
one of the apps that we had. So
Yeah. So yeah,
that
five.
that came on, and then Bloodsport came on right after. I
Oh
was like, oh
man,
wow.
Bloodsport's a great movie. So yeah, I mean, like 5 songs, 22 minutes. It's a real quick listen, and it was actually really good. It was good.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth spending 22 minutes on, for sure, I would
Yeah.
say.
So I'll try to get through this one today and try to post the review up on the Facebook page or something. So this eruption. Uh,
Okay.
the one that I actually went with was Pistols at Dawn. The album was Ascension. Um,
Pistols at
Pistols,
Dawn.
yeah, Pistols at Dawn. They're the American hard rock band from Atlanta, Georgia, formed in 2015 by drummer Adam Jaffe, guitarist Devin White, and guitarist Mike Buffa, and bassist Billy Sullivan. Virtuoso guitarist Buffa died tragically in 2018, and then the band reunited in 2019 with its first release in early 2020. So short-lived there in the beginning. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, but they've became a 4 piece instead of a 5 piece, I guess. So current members, you have Chris Pearson on vocals, Adam Jaffe on drums, Devin White guitarist, and Billy Sullivan bassist. This, like I said, this is the band's second full length album. 8 songs, 33 minutes, 7 seconds, so not very long. Um, got a 10 years Breaking Benjamin vibe from it myself. Kind of a mixture of the two, I guess. Of course, I like both of those bands, so it was fine for me. But the drums stood out to me on this album. Like it was really good drumming on this album. I think so. Like I always get like I never listen to anything. I never like try to listen to anything like that, as far as like guitar or drum or anything like that. So I don't like try to pinpoint it. I just I
Hmm.
just try to listen and enjoy it as a whole. But whenever they do stand out to me, I like to give props for that, because, like I said, I try to listen to it as a whole and not try to give any favoritism toward any certain instrument. But
Hmm.
but that
Sure.
that the drumming definitely stood out. Like it was very very good. So. Um, and the vocals were great. He had the really good cleans and screams. So it kind of goes back and forth, kind of like the Breaking Benjamin style in
Sure.
the early Breaking Benjamin era. Not much anymore, I don't guess, but but
Right.
early in their career. But uh, very diverse in the songwriting too. Some really heavy stuff, some mid tempo stuff, and then I kind of even had a battle track on there too. So it kind of had a little bit of everything on there. So if you're looking for a little bit of everything, there you go. So I kind of liked it. It was my favorite album of the year. No, but it's good enough. I'd give it 3.5 horns. So
Nice.
definitely definitely worth a listen. So if you're fans of Benjamin or 10 Years, definitely check that out. I think you'll like it. So
Nice. All right. Well, my formal review was the new album "Evidence of Immortality" by Conan. They are a sludge stoner doom metal band formed in Liverpool, England in 2000.
yeah.
2000 Liverpool, formed in Liverpool, 2006 in Liverpool. Um, their lyrical themes include Vikings, Norse mythology, and battles, just in general. They are a three-piece. You have John Davis on guitars and vocals. You have Chris Fielding on bass and vocals. They're kind of a you've got and I should have looked this up, but I didn't. So I don't know who does which vocal style, but lead vocals are primarily a little more high pitched and clean. Then there's some gutturals that are complementary background vocals. So I'm not exactly sure which singer does what. I should have looked that up, and I didn't. And then you got Johnny King on drums. This is their fifth full length album. Their debut album, Monos, came out in 2012, Blood Eagle in 2014, Revengeance in 2016, Existential Void Guardian in 2018, and the new album that came out yesterday, which is 6 tracks long, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. But when it's 50 minutes and 54 seconds, uh, yeah, that got
Wow.
it's not just an EP. Well, when you've got track number one, A Cleaved Head No Longer Plots at 10 minutes and 23 seconds, and track number 6, Grief Sequence at 14 minutes and 29 seconds,
Wow.
that kind of tends to inflate numbers a little bit.
Hmm.
So yeah, track 2, Levitation Hoax, is 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Ritual of Anonymity is at 3:36. And then track 4 and 5 aren't exactly short. Track 4, Equilibrium of Mankind, is 8:23, and track 5, Righteous Alliance, is 8:34. So as far as track times go, you got some doozies in there. And and kind of the funny thing is those tracks didn't need to be that long.
Hmm.
One of the things I didn't really care for about this album is I think the tracks seem to be kind of intentionally inflated, especially like at the end of some of the songs. Because I mean, one of the things I don't really care for a whole lot with like the sludge stoner doom metal is, and I haven't listened to a whole lot of it, to be completely honest, if I'm being 100% honest, because I don't really, a lot of times I don't really care for the overall tempo of that genre. It just kind of, it's very slow and deliberate. Not that it's not heavy, because that's not the case here. This album was heavy, but it kind of plods along a little bit. It's kind of, like I say, it's kind of slow and deliberate and dark, which obviously is which is what you would expect with the genre. But
Hmm.
there's there when that's the only tempo you kind of play, to me
Right.
it gets a little, I hate to say boring, but that's kind of how it feels. And
Hmm.
then some of the songs, like I say, they didn't need to be as long as they needed to be, because some of the guitar riffs and some of the harmonies were just repeated over and over and over. It's like, dude, you could have cut at least a minute off of that song if you would have
Hmm.
just cut it off, you know, one riff sooner, or whatever. So some of this seems like it was a little bloated on purpose. And then, track 6, Grief Sequence, like I say, it's 14 and a half minutes long. It's basically the same guitar harmony over and over and over again, with very few subtle key changes, but basically it's the same song for 14 and a half minutes. There's no vocals. It's a 14 and a half minute song instrumental that
Oh
basically
man.
basically goes nowhere, really, if I'm being completely honest. It really just doesn't go anywhere. So overall, I didn't hate the album. Like I say, it was heavy, and I kind of like the way that they had the clean vocals backed up by the guttural vocals in the background. So there were exactly. So that's exactly what the album sounded like. Two dogs. I'm just no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It didn't sound like that. It didn't sound like that. But yeah, it was definitely heavy. I mean, the guitar riffs were nice and beefy and chunky. Like I say, very dark and ominous very dark and ominous tone all the way throughout. But like I say, just the same tempo all the way through. The sixth song really didn't go anywhere. Not that even the fact that it was an instrumental didn't even bother me that much, but
Hmm.
the length of it, and just the overall repetitiveness of it, just kind of it didn't really do it for me. So there were good things. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Like I say, there were more things I liked about it than things that I didn't.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, but I mean if you're into that, sludge, stoner, and doom metal, this one would be a good one for somebody who listens to that
Yeah.
genre on the
Yeah.
regular, for sure, I think.
In which we do have some of those fans on our Facebook page.
Oh
So
yeah, we absolutely
so
do.
so, so
Yeah, absolutely.
they definitely like that one, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, I liked it more than I hated it, for sure.
Mm.
So um I probably won't go out of my way to listen to that 14.5 minute instrumental anytime soon. But tracks 1 through 5, there were a lot of good elements to those first five tracks. They could have, in my opinion, the tracks could have been shorter, because there were some parts of it. It's like, all right, you've played this same harmony like over and over and over and over and over again. They could have kind of condensed certain parts of the songs, and I still think they would have been plenty cohesive, and I think they still could have, they would have been nice, complete songs, even though even without them being 8.5 minutes long. So,
Mm.
so, so yeah. Now, coming up next Friday, August 26th, we have quite the okay. Oh, I sorry. What was this, the weekly list that you just put up?
That's the weekly list. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna
So
we're gonna
definitely
put that we're gonna put that up on the screen there for everybody.
check out some new stuff. That's what it's there
Yeah.
for. So
Yes. Yes. So speaking of new stuff, like I say, coming up on August 26th, I mean, we are going to have a veritable buffet of items to choose from. Of course, August 26th, there is, as far as you and I, as far as our opinion is concerned, is probably going to be there's going to be one album that kind of headlines above the rest here, and
mhm.
you'll know it when I say it. But leading off for August 26, 2022, we have Two Mums with Bushmaster Side B. That is an EP. We have Absolute Darkness with Failure of State. We have Alcatraz with Official Bootleg Box Set Volume 2, 1983-1984. We have Align the Tide with Hollow. We have Alms with The Trial. We have Ankylos with Elan Vital. I think that's how you say it. May just be Elan Vital. I don't know. Then we have Anthea with Tales Untold. Epiron Bound with Multiplicity, not the Michael Keaton movie,
That's the Michael
but
Keaton one. Okay.
not the Michael Keaton movie. Um, okay, and then is this other one? Is this last week's top 10?
That's the top 10. Yeah.
Okay, all right,
The American bands.
American bands. All
Mhm.
right, then we have Armnat with Immortal Nature. We have Auriferous Flame with The Great Mist Within. We have Austere with Towards the Great Unknown. That is a box set. We have Bad Baron with Ace of Hearts. Becoming the Archetype with Children of the Great Extinction. Black Braid with Black Braid 1. Blood Box with Posthuman Disorder. Blood of Indigo with Dawn of the Shaded World. Bloody Redemption with Hit to the Gore. We have Brymere with Voices in the Sky. I know. We have Cathartic with Through the Abysmal Gates of Subconscious. We have CB3 with Exploration. We have Center Shift with Of. That's an EP. We have Child of Caesar with Spirit and Liberation. Consumption with Necrotic Lust. Cyborg Octopus with Between the Light and Air. We
All
have
right.
Datura 4 with Neanderthal Jam. Death Scythe with Killing for Pleasure Forever. Deus Ex Machina with 3. Drag Me Out with Demons Away. Dreadnought with The Endless. Dynasty with Final Advent. Yes, that Dynasty. Then we have Eaten by
Mhm.
Sharks with Eradication. Eden Bridge with Shangri-La. Fall 50 Feet with Lonely If You Go. That is an EP for them. We have Flesh Sermon with Venomous Black Magic. We have Glassing with Dire and Sulk. That is an EP. We have Gravedigger with Symbol of Eternity. Shit, I have to
Nice.
check that one out. We have Hexus with Eternum. Hierophant with Death Siege. The Hirsch Effect with Solitaire. That is an EP. We have an Imperial Age with New World. Intent with Exile. We have Iron Savior with Reforged Ironbound Volume 2. We have Lacrimus Profundir with How to Shroud Yourself with Night. We have Little Caesar with Little Caesar. All right, take 3. Little Caesar with This Time It's Different. That is a re-release for them. Lonely Robot with A Model Life. Long Distance Calling with Eraser. We have Lugnet with Tales from the Great Beyond. We have Luster with A Thirst for Summer Rain. And then here we go, Machine Head with Of Kingdom and Crown. Yes. Then we have Malamorte with Omen. Manifest with The Sinking. Master with On the Seventh Day God Created. On the seventh day God created Master. Sorry, that overlapped into another line. That is a re-release for them. We have Matt Cesano with In Defiance. That is an EP. We have Might with Abyss. We have Migliori Amici and Company with Best of Friends. That is an EP. Mystic Charm with Hell Did Freeze Over. That is a re-release. Naked Soldier with a self-titled album. Obituary with Cause of Death Live Infection and Obituary Slowly We Rot Live and Rotting. We have Olhava with Reborn. Phase 4 with a self-titled album. Pineyed with Blue Doom. Plasmodulated with a self-titled album. We have Red Rot with Mal de Vivre. We have Santa Cruz with The Return of the Kings. Shroud of Despondency with Air of Abrasion. We have Psy with Shiki. Species with To Find Deliverance. Spirit and the Room with Flamingo. That is an EP. Stitched Up with Jupiter Jazz and The Suicide. We have Storm with Invincible. That's an EP. Storm Hunter with Strangle with Care. That is also an EP. We have Siren, Heads or Tails. Tad Morose. There's a name we hadn't heard in a minute. With March of the Obsequious. Thought Crimes with Altered Pasts. Vampiric Rites with The Wolves Howl to the Moon. Then we have Word with Heathen. That's a re-release. And Zeistenkreuz with Crucifixion. That is an EP. So that is quite the list we'll have to choose from on August 26th. So, basically after Machine Head, we'll just have to pick another one to listen to.
Yeah, I actually had that on order, so.
Yeah. So like I say, that's going to be, Machine Head's basically going to be the headliner, but I'll probably check out that Gravedigger too, and then see what else I can come up with.
Speaking of Machine Head, Rob Flynn was on the cover of the new Metal Hammer magazine. So
yes, he was.
Congrats to him. He actually posted it and said, "Look, your boy's on the cover." That's what he said.
Yep.
And then I didn't bring my list of stuff that I wrote down for headlines, but I do remember that, and I do remember that Megadeth is covering a Judas Priest track for an upcoming undisclosed Amazon project. So I'm not sure what entails right up as of yet, but that'd be an interesting take on a Priest song from Megadeth. So
yeah. Well, it's like when Megadeth covered Paranoid on Hidden Treasures, So
yeah. They did.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah. Which one they covered? They covered something in Nativity in Black too.
Oh, shit.
Was the War Pigs?
Hang on, maybe they did.
Or maybe it was.
I'm gonna know. Let's see, Nativity in Black, a tribute to Black Sabbath. It was their version of Paranoid.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Let's see. I mean, this was a damn good album because because
Pantera did Planet Caravan. I remember that. And, I actually got that cassette somewhere.
Yeah. So. And then let's see. Yeah, Sepultura did Symptom of the Universe.
Yeah.
Corrosion of Conformity did Lord of This World. White Zombie did Children of the Grave, and of course, Stone Sour and Havoc have both covered Children of the Grave too. So
right. Yeah, it's a very good cover. Oh, that's kind of like was my expectations with the Black albums. I wish they would have did something more along that line than what they did. We could have just got a bunch of metal bands doing covers, which we've heard some great Metallica covers too. So, Bullet from a Valentine does a great Battery. I mean, Machine Head's done a couple of good covers. So I mean,
Yeah, they have. So I
they
mean,
could
there's been
they could have definitely done an album like that, but they
yeah,
didn't. So
I really that was that. I mean, obviously, like we said before, Metallica can do whatever they want.
well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've basically given themselves carte blanche with the career that they've had. But had it been us, and the funny thing is there were a few good metal covers on that blacklist.
Right.
But I mean, they really could have had other metal bands cover that because me, I hated every cover of The Unforgiven. I hated every single one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I mean, there were metal bands that could have done justice to that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think kind of a lost opportunity, I guess you could say. But yeah, then the funny thing is there were 2 volumes of the Nativity in Black, and they were both done really
Right.
well. So
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe with the next the next big milestone birthday for the Black Album, maybe they'll do that. So
yeah, 35 or 35 will obviously be here before too long. But
yeah,
before we know it, it's gonna be like
40
2026.
years.
Yeah, 2026. Yeah, 35 years. So yeah, who knows?
We'll be talking 40 years of the Black Album for a long time.
sooner than we would care to. That's for sure.
Right? Yeah. So anyway,
but if the show is still on in 2031, hey, there you go.
We'll definitely be talking about it. So
here's hoping. Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah. Can't ever tell. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's that. I guess then. So
yeah,
for this week. So
yeah, a tidy 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, that's about pretty much where we've been for a while, unless we have something, something real big discussed come up, and then we kind of blow it, or we have guests on the show, which we're still working on a couple of that. I got a couple more emails out, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do too. I have a couple of more. I have a couple more, I guess, follow-ups I'm probably going to have to do because right now I'm kind of twisting in the wind with a couple of them. So I may have to do another check-in.
I'm at the point to where if they they give me say, hey, you can check in a couple of weeks or something, I'll do that. But if you're at the point where they're just kind of like ghosting me, then I'm not. I'm not gonna waste my time. It's like whatever.
Right.
If you. I emailed one of them a while back and said, "Hey, man, I know you guys probably tied up doing something else, so doors open. Anytime you want to, if you think you want to do that, just let us know." So,
right.
So it's kind of in their court now. I've done. I'm not gonna waste my. There's too many bands out there that I can't waste my time on just trying to get one on here. So.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely not. We're not going to beg either. So.
Well, no, I mean it's I understand. We're not going out to millions of people yet, so I'm not expecting them to if that's what you're waiting on, then good luck getting Eddie Trunk or anybody to talk to you, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not name worthy, they're probably not going to talk to you. So
right.
And that's kind of like where we come in. So we're not trying to talk to name worthy bands. We want to talk to bands that we think the people should know more about. So that people don't know about. So
yeah. But even having said that, I mean, we don't have time to wait around forever either. So
Well, no, I mean, we got other bands that will come on the show. So I mean,
absolutely, yeah, we do.
So
yeah, we do.
If you missed the last interview we did, Source of Rage, a couple weeks ago, you can still check that out on YouTube and Twitch.
Yes, you can.
The Facebook page, and you can always go back and listen to that. Then it's pretty cool conversation there. So
yeah, it was.
So yeah, like I said, I've enjoyed all of our conversations, and like I said, we've created some friendships along the way. Eyes of the Living's a real big, with and Devil's been big on both of those bands have been big with the correspondence on the Facebook page. So I mean, they're pretty active in there, so it's pretty cool to see them pretty active in there. And of course, I just had, like I said, I just had the defaced private message to be today. So and I've talked to John O'Connor in the last month. So I mean, we've so we're they got some new stuff cooking up. I can't wait to hear that actually. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. The new One of the Last. That's going to be good.
Yeah. then
And we're looking
and then one
we're
of my
looking forward to we're looking forward to nothing written in stone, but we're looking forward to hopefully meeting Eyes of the Living in person in about a month and a half. So
yeah, maybe. We'll see. So
you'll see how it
if
goes.
not, I'm sure we can probably hook up after the show or something. Maybe we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, anyway, and then there's anybody that follows Nonpoint. The news came out. Well, not really any news. They just kind of put out a little teaser of possible new music coming out.
Awesome.
It just had a kind of a ruthless part two kind of picture to it, and said had claws going through with blood, kind of like their pictures with blood that time. And then it said new. I think it's September or 6th or 9th or something. It said so coming up pretty soon. They're going to have a big announcement. So hopefully it's new music. We'll see. I know they were working on some EP stuff. So
Well, September 9th is a Friday, so I don't know if they would wait.
Probably
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they would wait
Friday.
until. Yeah, I don't know if they would necessarily have to wait until new release day to just come out with some news, but who knew? Who knows?
I don't know. We'll see. So well, a lot of good stuff going on. So, all right, I guess we will wrap this one up for today. And
Yep.
Thanks for everybody for joining in. And like I said, if you want to check out any of the other stuff that VOP platform puts out, we have the Chris's brother's show, Bob. He's got a show called High Octane, and
Yes, he
we
does.
still have was it Brenda? Is it DJ Brenda? Is that what's called?
Yep, DJ Brenda Black with the R word, and then I think I'm not 100% sure he had a show this week, but I know that the boss is going to be having he's going to be back with Politishock a little more regularity. So things are going to be picking back up with more consistency here in the coming weeks over at here at VOP USA Radio. So we're looking forward to that with the other shows. And then we're September 1st, about 10 days away. There's 11 days away. We got a big announcement that even we haven't been privy to yet. So, I mean,
not yet. They just said, hey, we got an announcement coming. So
yeah, so there's stuff that we don't even know yet that we're looking forward to. So, I mean, as soon as we find that stuff out, you guys will know about it. But
they can't favor us, man.
They really are. Yeah. So yeah,
I guess is the TWRP still doing shows too? I haven't seen.
I think I'm pretty sure they are. I think they
were too. I think I seen them doing something last week. So
I do believe so.
So you still got wrestling, you still got music, you still got cars, you still got all kind of stuff. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, you guys, check us out. You guys can check us out or any of the other shows at the network at VOPUSARadio.com, the VOP USA Radio app. One of the 140 plus podcast streaming platforms that are out there. We have our own Facebook group. I can't speak for the other shows, but I know, like my brother's got an Instagram, we're working on that. We've got our own YouTube channel. So does my brother. So, you can follow us.
Twitch. We got our own Twitch.
Yeah. We've got Twitch. We officially have a TikTok for Metalheads Unite. I still haven't done it. I'm still a little gun shy about posting to TikTok because I still have no idea how to use it. So I haven't had time to have one of the kids show me how to use it yet. So, but we do have TikTok. So you can follow us there. So, I mean, yeah, we're all over the place, so you guys can watch us, you guys can watch VOP USA Radio. We do still have the Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com, if you want to drop us an email. But like I say, follow us on Spotify, follow us on, Facebook, if the icon right up there above Jason's head is the thumbnail we use for all of our platforms. Yep, that one right there. That'll be the one. That's the one you're going to look for at TikTok. So, I mean, basically you see, if you see that thumbnail, that should be Metalheads Unite. Because like I've said before, that is a Jason Tucker original photo. So if anyone else is using it, I don't know where the hell they would have gotten it from. So
from my page. That's what I got.
They would have stolen it. So
Yeah.
So if you see that, if you see that thumbnail attached to it, send us a message and let us know. Check in and make sure check in and make sure it's us. And if it's not, we'll do something about it. But
Yeah.
that thumbnail should be us if you guys want to follow us. So
Kicking down doors.
that's right.
Still in my shit, man. Yeah. Well, like I said, with that being said, I guess we'll wrap this bad boy up till next week.
Yep.
I'm glad you guys stopped in. Hope you enjoyed the news and everything that went on today. So check out the new music over there at the Spotify, and like the album reviews that we did. So you can check those out as well if any of that interests you. So
Yeah, man. You guys keep your eyes open for especially everybody, the members in the group. That'll be who this is for. Keep your eyes open for the playlist. This week's top 10 that'll be up. And want to thank Kat and Myrna for coming by. It was good to hear from you guys.
All right. And that being said, I guess we will see all of you next week. Until then, keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. See you next week.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you.